Hello. Hi. That's not the right one. We're in gameplay plus webcams. That's right. Okay. And we're also not sharing that. We're sharing my screen. Like this. Okay. Cool. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 41st edition of your favorite podcast, the Momentum Mod Team Q&A. My name is Nick, aka Goknek. I'm the project and development lead of Momentum Mod, here with my lovely teammates to answer some of your burning questions that you ask us over in our Discord, !Discord and chat. My name is, of course, is Nick. I am very happy to be leading this team and show off some awesome work today. Sorry for the delayed start for those that have been waiting. But yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff that's starting to come together. And I think the next Q&A is going to probably be even more ironclad and like really tied together. So it'll be a little jank.
I'm more ironclad in the sense that this very much isn't ironclad. This thing's a fucking mess.
Yes.
So,
yeah, no, just that's the disclaimer. It's gonna be jank as fuck, but next Q&A should be a little bit better. And just as we approach the end of the year for 010, you're gonna start to see everything piecing together, and yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So, all right, I guess we can start off with introducing ourselves. We can go down the list of the Discord names. Feel free to say who you are and what you do.
We're starting with you, or
no, it's you. You're up top.
Okay, I'm Tom. I'm web systems lead. I'm really tired. I've just spent the last 3 hours trying to make all this work. It kind of worked. We have pushed like 3 different fixes to Steam. We pushed about 6 different fixes to our web stuff, and I'm exhausted. But yeah, I do the web and the UI and the stuff.
Much deserved rest after the stream for sure. Yeah, a lot of last minute stuff. There was the you were saying as we go to war, right? Technology is improving. So, are those solid? That's funny.
Yeah. The more the pushing ourselves to get this stuff fast makes a lot of stuff get fixed. CMake be damned. Yeah, CMake's been working for the last 24 hours. That's made doing stuff a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Being actually able to build the game. But yeah, that slows stuff down a bit. But also, me and Nick spent a bunch of work last night trying to get stuff in and merged, and then we were both quite tired. And I said to Nick, like, "Oh, I'm really tired. I'm gonna go to bed. Can you do like half of this?" And we were gonna do like both of these things that we had to do. I figured we could just do one of them tomorrow, and then Nick was also really tired. It didn't do the other thing either. So both things we've had to do today. We've had to do all the web stuff and all the game stuff, and it's been a nightmare. So.
Yeah, it was a lot of just last minute prep, which for the most part, right, we don't plan on doing. This, like I was saying earlier in the meetings and stuff, like this is probably one of the last like hectic times of momentum development, because the moment that we get everything, like this is probably one of the last times that will be like hectic with like, you know, pushing and like getting a bunch of web stuff in, because, you know, in the future we'll have a lot of these systems basically ironed out, and it's just one thing at a time. 010 is every different system under the momentum, like,
for 010, okay.
Yeah, so like after,
I mean,
010,
in theory, like hypothetically, like this didn't have to be like a clusterfuck, but these things end up being clusterfucks.
Yeah,
this will absolutely happen again in the future. This stuff's always a nightmare. AC is gonna kill us.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that like 1.0 goes pretty smoothly. We won't be rushing into 1.0. That's my whole point.
We'll be rushing into it, but there'll still be crunch at the end.
Yeah,
there always is with these kind of things.
Yeah, just as things fall into place, and maybe you see things that you don't expect. But I guess we can continue down the list here.
Yo, I'm Bray. I do programming a lot less so on momentum. Thanks. I probably like somewhere between none and next to none for momentum, but you know, I'm busy bee.
You got other stuff.
Oh yeah, real life.
Yeah. Maybe answering all those C++ questions. Consulting.
What is an R value?
I'm a consultant that doesn't do any consulting.
Yeah.
But yeah, real life gets in the way sometimes. So it's, it happens a lot with projects like these, right, where it's just all volunteer. Just reiterating, right, that momentum is being made out of passion, out of free time of people involved. It's a little more, I guess, restrictive now because of the engine access, right? Like you have to be NDA'd by Valve, so there's even less of a way that people could jump in and contribute. But right, the idea behind being able to just kind of do what we can when we can leads to dates that we can't really set for things until we're absolutely certain, and then also just like sometimes there's lulls in development, and then sometimes there's everyone's available because it's a break and like we knock something out, right? So it happens like that, but it's completely fine. It's it goes like that quite a bit. I've seen it over the years, so
Yeah,
it's
working
something.
in the industry really takes it out, I think.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
also working on other games, so
Yeah.
it's hard to work on 3 games at the same time.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. But make sure to still complain in the YouTube comments about the thing that you're not paying any money for is taking too long, because that really motivates
That'll
us.
speed us
Also,
up.
you guys
I
are
mean, there's
really
definitely
smart.
things I'll need to tackle before 1.0, but
Yeah,
eventually.
some sticky jump stuff.
Yeah.
Continuing on down the list here.
It's you.
No, I already
What do you
went.
want?
I go first.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Hi, everyone.
Nick. Hi. No.
Hi everyone, I'm Gori. I am the web dev, do web stuff, front end, back end, all the logic and leaderboard stuff, and that kind of thing. That's it.
Heck yeah.
I guess it's my turn now. Hi, hello. I'm happy. I'm gonna do music. I'm doing localization. And I do different stuff. I guess depends on the task. I'm here, I'm around. That's pretty much all.
Heck yeah.
Hello. Is it me next?
Oh yeah.
Hi, I'm Lumia. I'm a programmer. I've been working on some super secret stuff recently, and also
Yeah.
Hammer. Use Hammer.
Yeah, that super secret stuff. We have a branch for that we're going to be updating continuously over the next couple of months. Hopefully, getting more and more fixes and stuff as we're seeing. It's really exciting. We talked about
We
it
have
last.
said what the secret thing is. We have said
Yes.
what it is.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah,
like-
but we kind of said it without realizing maybe we shouldn't say it, so I'm not going to say it anymore.
Okay, I think we're allowed to say what it is. I think it's more like just not show
Yeah.
what it does, because PDC want to show it off first. But
Yeah, it's
okay.
a very, very interesting rendering technique that we're excited to implement, because it's going to make lighting in Source better. So that's all I'll say.
It's not a drastic change for Momentum. It's more of a change for PDCE, and it's being worked on by
That's
PDCE
true.
dev, but we get it as well. So it's an improved rendering technique that it'll be good. If you want to do new maps using it, you can do cool stuff with it, basically.
Yeah.
But
It's not ray tracing. That's way too expensive
We
for a
had a-
game like ours.
We added a new technique for our rendering that requires you to play defrag.
Yes. Yeah. Defrag maps get the most benefit out of it. But all right. Last but not least, we got Mac.
Hi. I make maps and I do a bit of tooling for Momentum Mod.
Heck yeah. All right. So I don't know the format, Tom. So did you want to go through?
So what are we doing? Are we doing what has everyone been up to?
Yes, there's that question first, but we could go through the asked questions first and then do the giant kind of like show everything that we want to.
No, let's show stuff off first, because the
right.
questions we all pick random shit at the end to show off anyway.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So answer.
Yeah, no, that works. All right. So our first question that we get asked, or that we ask ourselves every single month: what has everyone been up to? 010-0. 010-0 has been the primary focus for the team for the past probably year. It has been well underway. It's hard to describe progress in it because there's big things like the replay refactor, or like kind of like timer zones replays. Like those are just distinct systems that Momentum has, but each of them are huge in their own regard, right? We have like different different things that we need to do for each of these systems, and then not only that, we need to start to hook them up together and then make sure everything works. There's the back end, which is our centralized leaderboards and map selector, right? That's a huge amount of like effort, and like it needs to be synchronized with game code because game needs to talk to it and work with it, download maps, upload runs, things like that. So a lot of interop there. And then yeah, I would say that we are like still probably like 90 to 95% of the way there. We were trying to show off some of that, but still there's some like grease that we gotta apply. It's kind of rough. It's still rough, roughly implemented right now, but it's coming together really, really well. We have Rio's replay and timer work that they've been working on for the past like 3 months. Finally up for review, so we're going through and reviewing that right now and getting that in for O10. We have a lot of excellent work from Panzer and Peenscreaker on miscellaneous entity work, as well as zoning, which we're also going to try to show off today as well. Oh, should I switch over to your screen, Tom? Did you want to start showing stuff
almost
while I'm talking about
Yeah,
this?
can I? Well, sorry. I just want to like just to make it super clear, because obviously not everyone's going to be like fully following O10 stuff and the whole plan of stuff. So O10 is like tentatively named the naming refactor, or that's what it's been called for years. But
The zoning, yeah.
sorry,
Zoning.
the naming refactor.
Yeah, the naming. We're refactoring how we name things.
Yeah, we do that a lot. Fucking hell.
I mean, we
Programmers
do.
love to that.
We are
Naming
also
things.
doing that, but it's not the
Yeah.
naming refactor.
The
It's
only thing programmers love more than
timer. Yeah.
Right, so O10 is zoning refactor, redoing zoning. It's also the backend's all been rewritten, and it's also map submission. So O10 is can submit maps, zone maps. We've got public map submission. We're going to show that off today. So the zoning systems have been most of like the kind of timer and zoning stuff has been done for about 3-4 months in the C++ side of it, but we've not hooked everything up fully yet. Partly because it's just the way we were expecting people's timings to work. It didn't really make sense to be working on. We could have basically got this on the like last Q&A if we really wanted to, but I've been working on other stuff kind of because of how Rio's timing works out, and just I think this will how stuff will sync up best. Yeah, and there's only one thing programmers love more than naming things badly is complaining about how hard it is to name things. Every programmer loves to say, "Oh yeah, sorry, doesn't matter. Ignore me." Okay, so zoning stuff's been mostly done. Sorry, a lot of the like existing like the zone system and timer's been kind of done. A lot of the UI hasn't been finished, and the zoning UI for actually making zones, or some of the code as well for like making the new zones, that's not been done. So a lot of this stuff like exists in the pre-O10 stuff. It's just really jank and really old, and this is O10. It's kind of remaking all that.
Yep.
But then there's also been map submission, but that's been like kind of half finished for a while, and a lot of stuff we're showing off today is still kind of half finished. Everything will start. We're not at the point of polishing O10 yet. People like to complain that momentum's taking like we're spending years like polishing stuff, and like no, like look, like there's so much of our UI that's like terrible. We're not polishing stuff right now, and we will do some polish by 1.0 that I hope to get in, but we're not really going to hold stuff back for that. I expect not too much, but like. So right now, what you're seeing is like a very jank build with a lack of polish, but it does have in-game zoning working, and the map selector kind of works. That being said, there's a lot of stuff that is still really jank. And the thing we're missing right now is run submission. So this map is zoned, but doing runs on this map doesn't submit that replay to the back end. You can't watch those replays. Right. You don't get like the end of run stuff or that. That's coming soon. Like Nick said, the work for that, which is previously was scheduled to be 011, is actually, but we're doing it for O10. It just didn't make sense to like half do it, so we motioned together.
Yeah, there were a lot of needs. There were a lot of needs that O10 had that required replay changes anyway. So we just kind of condensed it down, and a lot of cosmetic related things to replays can be still at O11, like a future version, but O10 needs kind of that core change. So we ended up just ending up doing that for O10.
Yeah, exactly. And so a lot of that is in now. Someone's microphone is happy. Can you mute when you're not talking? Thanks. Sorry, I'm just trying to prepare a little bit of stuff before showing this. So
we got a lot of stuff to show. It's very fun.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff we're going to show is going to be really jank, but it's still kind of there. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna do some map submission. We're gonna pick a map. We were talking about doing like a poll for the map, but no one. We asked in Discord. No one really recommended good maps, or like gave us BSPs for those maps. And so, who cares? I'm gonna
show
just
off a couple.
zone. Do I have Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna zone Surf Ben 10 and submit it because I like this map.
All right, I will show your screen.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay,
Alright.
so again, lots of jank here. Oh, one thing, I didn't really get my browser window set up. Let me just get that right. So yeah, so where are we at? Why do I have like the weapon display?
So while you get set up, I'll talk about this a bit. So O10O, for those that are unaware with our versions or new to the project, O10O is a giant overhaul to our map, kind of our map submission pipeline, as well as the zones that are in the maps, right? The timer that you would run when you do a map, and then the replays that are recorded that prove that you did the map. So it's a lot of these systems and other miscellaneous things too. There's a lot of tangentially related things, right? Like being able to zone while in game is nice because we don't want to require people to decompile maps to add triggers or something like that. So we have to have in-game tools, as well as we have Hammer automatically detecting zones and spitting out a zone file as well. So we have both of those tool sets, but those changes need to be, properly reflected. And yeah, so what you're going to see Tom do here is actually the process of how O10O after we. Okay, so sorry. Let me jump back to that. When we release O10O, which is ideally by the end of the year, I mean we're making excellent progress. We have.
Oh yeah.
Like it should be by the end of the year unless something catastrophic happens. There's no scope creep or anything. We have exactly what we need to do in place. And when we release O10O and make sure everything's stable for the current playtesting count that we currently have, we will open up the playtest to everybody. So before you type that comment, in fact, we even have like 3 related questions after this one related to the release. It is going to be free. It is going to be released via the playtest. So you still have to sign up to the playtest or request access if you haven't already. And once we hit that point, we will release it to everyone that's requested access. So it will be public. And then the next question that you might have is where are all the maps? This is the process. What Tom is doing currently is the process of adding a map to our backend. So this is how we will go about effectively, right? Like we're opening the floodgates not only to people to play the game, but also hopefully to add maps, port maps over to Momentum, get them basically ready for 1.0, which is it's really nice having this kind of runway from 0.10 to 1.0 to figure out what are people hitting friction on with submitting a map, where are there with bugs, right, in any of these processes. So this is just a really valuable kind of like way to get everybody in and playing the game and giving us, general bug reports, but also testing our new systems that we want to make sure won't catch fire, right? And make sure that it's a good experience for people for 1.0 when we officially fully release, go full, press hard in the press for everything, right? Make sure that everyone's aware, because at 1.0 we will be fully wiping everything, and then assuming that we have the content, right? We have the BSPs and zones and things like that. We can re-add content, get everything ready, and then 1.0, it's a fresh slate. Everybody can join to the potentially hundreds, if not thousands of maps, and play, set world records, and we won't really be wiping or anything after that point, hopefully. So it's a really exciting timeline, right? So O10O is expected to be kind of by the end of the year. Just with the way that progress is going, it shouldn't take longer, again, unless something catastrophically is broken and we need to redesign something, which I don't see happening, because we've really dug into how we design all of these systems. So it's just a matter of seeing how well it meshes together, and improving that. So yeah, you can see Tom flying around here setting up individual zones. There's start zones, stage zones.
I don't know this system really at all.
Yeah,
I've not really used it very much.
What is teleport destination?
I believe that's where you would teleport. It's an entity
we don't
that
have
you can
visualization for it yet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an entity that you can teleport to when you set up
Yeah.
a zone. So when you teleport back to, say, the start zone, you can actually specify a specific teleport destination entity, and that's really
Yeah, so
valuable
some
because
people.
we currently have some zones that are kind of broken where it teleports you like outside of the map and stuff like that. So this will help kind of align a lot of
Oh,
things to
that'd be
where the mapper or zoner wants people to respond
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, Lodi, I know there probably are those, and I could do that. I might do that for CPs, but for checkpoints, but not right now. Sorry, just so I'm gonna talk about zoning now, if
Yeah,
that's
go
okay.
for it. Go for it. Yeah, I'll
Because
hand it over to you.
so yeah, I don't know this stuff super well, but also a lot of this is still a bit work in progress. The some of the zone visualization is improved, but there's not. Lodi, I know, yeah, but the what I don't have is, so it should be like showing a zone here. That's the main thing we're missing. So we'll see it eventually. One thing that's interesting, this zone is quite hard to do, right? Because like presumably that, I guess like the zone just starting in the floor here is fine. If I do this and save, isn't it meant to tell me? I guess it just tells me in console. No for the key in. Okay, that doesn't matter. Region 0 does not have enough points, it seems to be complaining about. Is this what it's complaining about? Save zones. No. Maybe it did save. I'm not sure.
Jank. It's all jank for a bit, and then
Yeah.
we'll iron it out. It's getting everything in
Yeah.
at the same time, so
Okay, so there's my timer running.
yeah. So the start
Also, the
zone's there. It's
timer's
just
not
not
showing.
rendering.
Okay,
Oh,
it
the
needs to
material.
check
The
onto this
material's
work.
corrupted, right? That's what you were showing off in console.
Oh, it could
So
be
it
that.
might just
Yeah.
straight up try doing the solid.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe
Let me. Give me a moment.
it's weird that it got
Um,
corrupted though. I don't know why it would.
no, this is me doing stuff. Don't worry.
Hmm.
Let me copy over. What's it called? Momentum zone material overlay. Zone material overlay. I think I just killed this thing and made it all weird. I did. Okay. Let me just get a version of this that's not broken. Yeah, because this is completely my fault. Okay. Zone material overlay. This one looks fine. Okay. Hopefully. Sorry. Let me just copy this, replace this. What is it? Reload materials. I don't know why it just doesn't need sheets. But okay. Let the game do that. Just be slow for a moment. Okay.
We plan on
There we go.
improving that.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
I've got
Okay,
this.
cool.
Yeah. Zone visuals is something we really do want to improve as well. I might be able to improve
The
the
thickness.
thing for this.
Yeah.
Tasteful thickness. Yeah.
Outlines as
Isn't there like
overlays,
this?
shows it through walls.
This is like the worst settings you want, by the way. There are 4 different things. It's not that clear what any of these actually do. And also, like, it's insanely verbose.
Oh, do we not
Let's
even have
forget
the
about that.
outline thickness in the settings? I know there's a command for
No,
it.
yeah, we
Just
did.
not in there.
We thought we'd add all the useless stuff and not the actual like things that are useful.
No, it's
Wait, no, what am I doing?
Nice, nice crosshair.
Yeah.
Mom zone.
Oh, great. What did I do? Outline thickness. Oh my god, what have I done? What was it before? What's the default? Oh, it's just I don't need it. Okay. Why is my crosshair so horrible now? I actually
You
have
have
screwed up my
the
crosshair. Okay. What is it? So it is zone outline.
zone outline thickness, and then
Yeah. Okay.
you can make them
There's
beefy.
zones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to make zones look less terrible. We'll try to do that. Yeah, I think actually that will improve stuff a lot. There aren't any checkpoints right now. So let's see. What do we? I don't know. Okay, like Lodi was saying, if I do show triggers, toggle. Okay, now I'm gonna see triggers, and I can probably figure out what's a checkpoint if I just go through the map.
That one that you just flew through probably was one.
Where?
That was like kind of like in that chute that you flew through. Or no, never mind.
Yes.
That's a teleport trigger. Yeah, never mind.
This might be something. It's hard to tell. There's better ways of doing this. Also, usually, if someone has put triggers in the map for where the zones are, usually you can just trigger them in the map. Or I forget if there's a way you can pick. Just to choose one and pick, you can set GP Death to each trigger. I'm not quite sure what you mean. But anyway, look, I don't know this stuff super well. I'm gonna just keep going and doing stuff. I might just add a trigger in a couple of random places. This stuff's gonna get wiped soon. This looks like a trigger. I'm just for the sake of like showing stuff, I'm gonna just do this. And I think if I go to new checkpoint, it doesn't work.
You have to click
segment,
on
new
segment.
checkpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So then pick points. I don't know quite how this works with Can it do a like fuck? I don't have the thing that
Follow the
disables.
line.
What is the thing? Is there a console command that stops triggers from ever teleporting you? I have like hold
Just
space to
hold
make them not do
plus
it.
jump. You can type plus jump in console, I guess.
Does that work?
It
It's
should
really
do.
funny if it does. It does.
Yeah.
While you're in loop thing, yeah.
I think
Uh,
that's a very old thing.
I don't think this is how we should do this. Okay, this is a silly way to do it. Okay, I'm gonna.
You just delete.
What's
the
nice is like we
individual
actually have UI for all this.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So pick points. Then we'll just do this, and I'm not sure if there's meant to be a height picker for this.
It used to be you would like raise your view and it would
Yeah,
just
I
use
don't know
your.
why we got rid of
Was
that.
it yaw? I think.
And this is this bug with focus. Also, Windows is being terrible, so it might be a bit hard. We have a bug with Panorama right now where like adding text and stuff can be really hard. So I think if I do like this, I can pick a height that will work. It kind of pick something.
Oh,
I don't
that's
seem to be able
cool.
to enter
That's
text,
really
so
cool.
that's annoying. Then yeah, there are filters. There's you meant to be able to pick there's a teleport destination region. I don't know why you can't pick an actual trigger. Or like if that was
Yeah,
the
there you
plan
go.
and I'm missing something. It's a teleport destination, but I don't need this.
Yeah, because it's just a checkpoint that you pass through.
Yeah.
If it was,
I think just for the sake of
Yeah.
demonstration, I'm gonna just show this. This is maybe a checkpoint here. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm just gonna do that. So we just have southern checkpoint.
and then, yeah.
And if
that
I
makes sense.
go back to top jumping. Do I? Okay, now I have zoning, time, and stuff like this. I'm probably not gonna be able to beat this map straight away. We do allow show triggers on, by the way, but yeah. This map's a tier 3. I've been playing it quite a lot. It's a really cool map, but I'm probably yeah.
Yeah, again,
But
visual
these
stuff like that's fine to have on.
yeah. So these are zones. This map probably doesn't need a whole lot of porting, but okay. There's a lot more to zoning menu, but we might show this off more in like future Q&As and stuff, and also because I just don't know how to use it very well, and there's like still some lacking polish.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm wondering if there's other stuff to show. I guess maybe to comment on the old zoning menu. The main issue I have with the old zoning menu is you couldn't really tell what was what, so it was all rather kind of like opaque, like what you were doing. The thing that's so nice about this is like you can genuinely just be like,
Yeah, you've
this.
got like
Is
the
there a
whole
thing
tree
to?
of your zones at the top that just.
Yeah, it'd be really nice if you could like click this and like go to this
Teleport to
point
it.
and just
Yeah,
teleport you.
that's
Yeah.
actually a card I think we have in our backlog. So again,
Okay.
just
Okay.
minor
Yeah.
polish things like that, quality of life things that are still coming down the pipeline, but we still have the
Yeah.
core functionality of creating zones and saving them,
Yeah.
and
Having this
editing
whole
them,
list of
and
stuff. Yeah.
seeing those changes, and yeah.
What's the best bonus on here? You know what? I'm gonna do Mogul's one. I think this is Mogul's one. Is it Mogul? I think there's someone. Pretty sure it's Mogul who made this bonus. Wait, where's the spawn bit?
If you go to it
This
and just
map has
fail it,
like 10 bonuses. Well, I have a start bit now, so I actually start in the spawn bit. Yeah, zoning and hammer's still supported.
yes.
Hansa's done a lot of work on Zone Maker for that. Where am I going? Sorry.
Can I say
Was I-
something off topic real quick?
Yeah, what's up?
Sure.
It's a knowledge day in Russia, so you know, cheers. Knowledge is power or something.
Cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna whip
Something
out
Tom
the
is
textbook.
severely
for that.
lacking right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout outs to Tom's knowledge right now.
Knowledge.
What are the what?
Happy.
What are those rooms?
There's something going on there. These are all the bonuses. I'm found my way here. I think this is Mogul's. Mogul's contributed to the website, though. I'm gonna zone his thing. He gets to be the. Okay. I'm sorry. So much of
Don't
this is
hit your
so
reset
junk.
point.
No? Why?
'Cause
Oh,
it'll
right.
take you
Because
4 hours to find the start again.
Okay, so if I go
Once
to
this is
bonus.
finalized, we should probably make like a video.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we'll do loads of docs and stuff for this. Yeah.
No, not like documentation, just a video to show how it works. Like,
Yeah,
pictures.
that would make sense. Also, is a bonus. Then we have reordering of stuff right now. We might need to do that. There's a lot of stuff we just don't. So sorry, where am I doing? So if I do this, then start zone. So with this, I could add a checkpoint to this. Maybe I will. Let's just add a checkpoint to this tiny bonus.
How long is is
with
it like 8 seconds?
3
Is that
rounds
it?
this is a
long, yeah.
linear map. I think just to point out is that we only have one segment here, but if it was a stage map, like the stages would be multiple segments, right? We also have this system called end segments. Does this still throw an error? No. End segments at next segment start, which is a catchy name. This means like if you do a segment that just has a start zone, then segment 1 just has a start zone, then segment 2 just has a start zone. The end zone of segment 1 is going to be the start of segment 2, right? And most maps
Yeah.
will use that, but there's some cases where you won't have that.
And
The
segment
other
in
thing
this
to know,
case is going to be a stage.
Yeah.
So if you're doing a stage run, like stage 1 or stage 2 only, then hitting that, hitting that stage 3 start would end stage 2's IL. Like, so that's
Lodi, the thing of possible to use triggers from the map as zones. I don't know if it's I don't think it's currently possible to pick in-game triggers as zones, so we maybe could do that. If you think it would be quite easy to do with just a trace. No. Lumper's not an abuse for zoning. Like, I guess you could, like, if people want to do the zoning purely in Hammer, they can. I think they might need to touch some of this for setting certain properties of this, but I don't think so. I think it should be fine. The thing that we don't have right now, what does seem nice, would be being able to, like, get your cursor to, like, get control, and then, like, oh, for fuck's sake, just, clicking a zone.
Yeah.
And then just trace until you hit a trigger, right? A trigger teleport or whatever, or a trigger checkpoint, something like that.
Yeah.
And just figure it out. Or whatever the triggers people are using for like maps that are on KSF or whatever. Like, there's all sorts of ways we could be doing this. That's just not what we're focusing on for this system. Or like we can be adding to this system, but that's just, I don't have that to show right now. Oh right, it won't go through walls like this. That's cool. Also, I didn't show there's a snapping as well. So if you want to do.
There's no reason we
34
couldn't do
unit.
something like that. It's just not done.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. This is absolutely not like. This is the kind of system we want to get out and then see what additional stuff people want. But sorry, let me just try to do this. You know what? Fuck it. That's good enough. When you are zoning, obviously be more careful than I'm doing it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Helipektiker stuff, but I think this is probably fine. And then you know what? I'm fucking lazy. I'm gonna just end zone. What am I doing? Oh wait, no.
What is the current status on unordered checkpoints? Do we support that still?
I'm a bit confused by this UI.
What was that, Lumia? Sorry, you were like
Unordered checkpoints. Do we still support unordered checkpoints?
That is a good question. I would need to check the doc. I think
the doc update. Oh, that's
what was it? Unordered. There was something with unordered and required that we ended up just not doing.
There's a.
I forget.
I think in the end we got rid of it and said that stages have to be in order. Checkpoints aren't in order if you can go through them or something. There's some specific thing.
Yeah.
It's complicated, but generally, like, there's been some cases where I think there were like a couple of gimmick maps that do it, so we didn't keep. There's one thing we didn't keep. One thing we did.
It was something really ridiculous where it was just like.
Okay.
I think out of order stuff is still allowed. I think it's just like they have to be optional or something. I forget what it is. Or they have to be required. Like you have to go through all of them, but they can be in any order, but you have to go through all of them because
this is it. This is it.
Because of
size. Sorry, the way this works, if you click on segment or bonus here, so with segment, you can change a segment to have checkpoints required or checkpoints ordered.
Yeah.
But you can't have segments themselves are always required and always ordered, I think is it.
That's right. Yeah.
I think translated this into rocket jump terms, what that means is that it'll be possible to have maps that have jumps that aren't ordered, but you can't have courses that aren't ordered. The courses have to be done in a set order.
Yeah.
Where is I can't tell what's what. For this teleport destination, I'm just gonna do I'm gonna set it to position and then just pick this with my cursor. And then I think you're is just taking this and then okay, so 90. Yeah. Oh, for God's sake! I can't. Yeah, I can't change.
We'll figure out this. We'll figure out this input bug. We do not want people to have to deal with this.
This is really.
That's the
Okay.
easiest way to not get people to zone maps. It's that frustrating
Yeah.
tooling. But yeah,
Okay.
it's just jank. You know, it's part of the
save
special.
now. So it's still complaining. Bonus segment 1 time is zone 1. Must specify a teleport destination for each region. Mission region 0. What are you talking about? Start zone. It has a position and yaw, so that should be fine.
Oh, is it upset about not having an entity?
Yeah, this is silly.
Okay, that might just be an oversight. Or specify new? Maybe?
Specify new? Oh, wait. Oh, right. No, you do specify new and then
Okay.
I pick it. What do I do?
No, I think that's it now.
Maybe. Okay, yeah, that works. I think it's
because
written
it uses the settings underneath.
Yeah. Okay.
'Cause
So
you can only
now,
have one
now I
new
am.
area.
Oh, the HUD status stuff is still broke. So it's it shows like the Plus of the UI and stuff is a bit jank right now because Panzer did some of it, but it still needs a bit of work, and I think I broke some of Panzer's stuff in this build. So
Yeah.
you can do non-square smart loading. It's just I'm using the 2-picker thing, but if I go to this guy, start zone, and this, you can do like pick points and this and change this. Oh yeah, here's like adding another one. You know what? Let's just make this one worse for no reason.
You can start the zone in the back and
yeah.
and open it up. Yeah.
Some question in the chat while we're doing stuff, or
put them in voice team.
No.
Usually, well, if it's like tangentially related, we'll try to pick them up.
Yeah, but if it's zoning stuff, we can talk about zoning stuff. Sure.
Yeah. If it's related to what we're showing you.
Okay. So I've just run a reload just to see. Okay, now it's put me to the bonus. What's happened here?
Oh yeah, are we going to be showing course and jump instead of stage and checkpoint for?
That's the plan, but I don't think
Yes.
it's in yet.
Yeah, it's in the game
Okay,
mode stuff. I thought I was reviewing that code. It was like get segment name or something, and it's either course if it's a RJ or jump mode, and I think we have that.
I broke backend. It doesn't work.
Uh-oh.
Well, I tried to submit a map and I can't download it. And sometimes when I try to update the map, it throws 500 with database error.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'll look at that later.
Okay then.
Yeah, if you got steps to reproduce that, let's try to get that fixed.
Yeah, well, let's think about this later.
Is something silly like you didn't set spawn point for the main course, so
maybe
it doesn't have a spawn point?
Well, I'm not really too concerned about that, to be honest. Well, let's see. What do we have? So start zone.
Yeah, it doesn't have one.
Oh, it does seem like start zone just
It's a
doesn't
teleport
have.
destination. Does anything else?
So why doesn't it warn about that? That's weird. Okay. Yeah, there's just like a million weird cases that you have to fix. It's just one of those things. Specify new. So I think it is doing this, and it's.
And you just have to save
position. Yeah. So your. Okay. I can't edit the text.
Yeah, we'll probably want to snap yaw to the nearest degree.
Okay.
I don't think we need. I don't think we need negative 0.05 degrees.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'll ask the chat. Is that something you guys would care about? Like, if it's fine if it just snaps to the nearest degree?
People just say they want dumb stuff when they don't actually need it.
Okay, that's fair. You guys aren't a good.
Yeah, fuck your opinions.
Sorry, but that is like.
Yeah, I would say having maybe a precise, maybe a toggle even. We could have it just like snap to.
Right now. So this is basically zoning. Again, this is like super jank. There's going to be better. Hopefully, zones will look better in the future. This is like this is a good insight into kind of O10 progress right now. Like a lot of the kind of big things are kind of decently there, but there's a lot of like jank and weird stuff that needs fixing. We just need people to start using it and actually mess with stuff. Okay. What I'm going to do is there's going to be zones visible in this, or maybe I'll just use areas that aren't zoned. I'm going to do screenshots now because I'm going to submit the map and then we're going to actually have it in game. So let's do. I'm going to just buy. Oh no! I'm going to just do what is it? PNG. This and 10.1. We're going to do a dedicated command for this, but this is what you need to do to take screenshots of maps. I don't know where I'm going. Let's just do some other areas. this bit's pretty cool. To
This is a built-in command that even though if you aren't at
yeah.
the resolution that you specify, we actually super scale the game when you take the screenshot in order to get that resolution. So we like stitch together different pieces of frame buffer. It's very cool. SL worked on that.
Oh, I thought that was
Yeah,
native,
multiples
or,
of 10
like,
would be
okay,
good.
okay.
I think.
No,
Power
it's
I think
terrible.
I'll
Yeah.
wait on votes.
We should snap it to the nearest radian on the units.
I think
I
it should be
think do
successive
like some kind
prime
of like
meters.
key addict based approach. I don't know. Right, so what I should have now, I'm gonna have to show file system stuff a little bit. That should be fine. I don't have any spooky secret stuff. So now, hopefully, it's now written out a zone file. Let me just 1 second check that this is terrible. This is fine. Okay. Yes. Okay, this seems okay. Yes, okay. So this is now our zone file.
Beautiful.
And it's just JSON. We're getting rid of stupid KV3 stuff or KV1, and we're not. I was trying to avoid using that generally.
Yeah,
the
if it
format is a bit
interrupts
weird.
with the
Yes.
back end, we're going
That's
just raw
pretty annoying,
JSON because
Yeah.
no point in.
Okay, so these are the zones I've just made. It's been super jank. Well, we ought to show this off better in the future. But now, second part of stuff. We've shown this off a little bit on Q&A already, but I want to show this. This is the map we're just playing AHOP Minecraft. A silly thing I added just now. Great
it's pretty
map.
good.
Yeah. Wayzone is a
Second
placeholder
ever
right now.
AHOP map. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's a reskin of the first AHOP map, which is like this, but I literally just stole Wayzone's map and added Minecraft textures because I thought it was funny. Oh wow. Okay. So Gordy added a map. Apparently he's breaking everything, but I don't care.
I'm trying to.
Oh wait, this isn't
Approve it.
Gordy's then, is it?
No, it is mine.
Oh,
it is
okay.
mine. I'm trying to. I can't approve it, and then after I'm trying to approve it, I'm getting the database error, and then I believe the what is it? The BSP is being moved to the persistent storage and stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about this. What am I doing? Oh, this thing.
Whatever.
We're
You
effectively
can submit
doing
a map.
a live end-to-end.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the thing is I just have not tested the stuff much. I just have not had time this week, unfortunately.
This is usually what happens behind closed doors when devs are like, "Is this even fucking functional?" But yeah, this is why the game's not public to everyone yet. Could you imagine the fucking fires? But yeah, I mean, once this is all stabilized, it's absolutely going to be.
I'm gonna get rid of this limit on here.
Oh, for the description. Yeah. Wait, why do we have a limit? Oh, so that we encourage people to.
People just write dumb stuff or just are lazy with it. So I do kind of like encouraging them, but
you can check what I did.
I mean, it could be
basically what you did, whatever.
Yeah, it could be optional.
So
this is the map submission form that we showed off a couple of Q&As ago. Well, actually, it's probably like a while ago now. It is a beautiful single page, all of the information that you need to.
It needs to be.
The old one or the new one? Sorry.
This thing, it looks way better than it needs to.
Oh no, yeah, it's amazing, and this is very important.
Please work.
It's
so
very
this was the form.
Yeah.
I've kind of glossed through this because it would be good for us to get the questions fairly soon. But yeah, I've added my zones. This is doing a lot of validation. If these zones are invalid, it's going to do stuff. Oh, also this map's 143 megabytes, so it's actually going to take a minute to upload.
PSP zipped?
Yeah, it's zipped. But then, yeah, there's some stuff like this. With private testing system, I'm not going to bother with that right now. It's not really hooked up in game yet. But private testing is a way to, in fact, it's a bit annoying to hook up in game. We'll do that soon. Is you can upload a map and have it so just you and people you invite can see it. It's only you and that. I don't think even admins can see it. Which is fun.
Wait, what? Admins can't see private maps?
Private testing, or I guess we could, but we don't. Yeah.
We should.
I know.
We very much. If we don't want people to abuse their stuff as a CDN, we absolutely need to be able to see private testing.
People like to use it as a CDN, especially because you can only upload one at a time if you're not done one already. I guess we could, but I guess we could make admins see it. I quite like just like having it be just for you and people working on it though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, admins shouldn't be playing it, but like
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so a lot of this stuff is quite unfinished, right? The credit stuff. Sorry, just ignore you there, Nick. Anyway,
no, it's okay.
just back to what I was.
Yeah.
Right. But
I like the I'm
But,
bored
like,
doing
yeah.
tomorrow.
And I wrote that
Like
6
months
months ago.
yeah.
We need to go through and do all this text, and we'll do like
Yes.
a docs page and stuff for all of this. But yeah, this form is prettier than it needs to be. I get that. This was me learning Angular and learning Tailwind and lots of new web stuff. So it's fancy than it needs to be. That being said, on this site and in game, we do like show these images like really prominently. So it's quite important, like how we this is a nice way to like preview how your thing's gonna look.
Hey,
Fucking
database
great
error.
stuff.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
You just submit a map again. It will work.
Well,
Why doesn't it work
to upload.
the first time? That's crazy.
Sorry, you said it didn't. It does what?
Now, when you're trying to upload a map, it gives an error. Then you try to upload again. It does work. You get a private, whatever, like the beta map. And then when I try to approve it, then the BSP is being moved, but then you get an error. And then when you're trying again, BSP is not there, so you can't go to approve that afterwards.
Wait, I want to see this real quick. 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
All jank, but this is could there be an option to add labels to the images attached? Good question. It could.
We could. Yeah.
But why?
Yeah. What would be the use case of that? Would it just be describing what the image is showing, or would it be? Because realistically, I think we have a 5 image limit, and most maps might not even have all 5. We just only need a thumbnail for the main map, so it is a nice option, I would say. But if it's just to kind of describe like what you're seeing, because like if you have like at least more than 2 zones, right, or like 2 or 3 zones, then you won't have enough image space. We only allow 5 total. You should get a general idea of what the map looks like through them.
What the fuck is this error?
Someone is reading some logs.
I'm reading Sentry.
Oh wait, right. I have Sentry. I forgot about that.
Oh, this is a game error. Sorry, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at game stuff. I was really confused. Also, what?
I'm gonna go staging. Check it.
Oh, you have that access. You have access to it now.
I have Sentry,
do. Okay, cool. Yeah. This stuff is like we've tested quite well with. There's actually we're joking about E2E testing. We actually have really quite a lot of E2E stuff.
Missing refresh token. Wait, did it take so long to upload that the refresh token or the access token expired? That's funny.
It
redirected you to a 404 as well.
It's okay. It's a DB transaction expiring.
Damn, that's
because
wait,
we change all this to make it?
Yeah,
okay, let's not debug this live on stream.
Right. I was gonna say this is.
Yeah. Okay.
This might be getting ahead of time, but does this build have the new game modes in it?
I think so. It's
on actually expire. Why would it be?
They're on the map browser at least. They're listed, I assume.
There's some game mode work. I think we merged it in, and then I think this branch is off of O10. So.
Can you show it on Steam so I can take a screenshot of it and put VQ3 in the defrag channel?
Not right now. It's on. It's on Steam now.
I can't launch it.
Okay, but we can do this when we're not live on the Q&A.
There's 2 CPMs. Oops. VQ3 became CPM.
Oh yeah.
Oops.
Just double CPM.
It's a
also, yeah, this UI is going to change after O10. The game picker stuff is a bit crap. But okay, so I think what we should do is go back to the normal Steam branch now, because this stuff's very jank and it's going to be hard adding maps.
Yeah.
I was hoping for more time this week to like test. Why am I making excuses? Whatever. This stuff's jank.
It's all jank. It'll get better.
There's so much stuff that can go wrong here with like cooking up this. Like this stuff is like actually end-to-end tested quite a lot, but it's hard to like anticipate some stuff. I don't know what's going on with that transaction though, because I thought we were. Whatever. Not now. Okay. Let's switch back over to Steam. So I definitely
Yeah.
you just like if you want to just screen share me real quick for like 5 minutes while you change your game over to Steam.
Yeah, let me
let's
change
do
mine
that
over.
so you can.
Yeah.
We have some content, but I think we should move on to actual questions.
Yeah, let's
I was
go
hoping this
ahead.
be a little bit more like organized for showing off, but we'll
It's
get
all
there. I
jank,
promise.
and yeah, we will absolutely be getting there. It's still really fun to kind of show you guys glimpses of like everything starting to connect together, but not quite there. And that's why like it still is really good to show that, because we're not bullshitting. Like it's almost there, but it's not ready, and like it doesn't look great, but we'll show what we can, and then like figure out what we can do. So like it's coming, and it's not like it's not vaporware like some people may think. It's definitely in the last little bit of like polish, connecting, making sure everything's okay, quality of life things that we're finding through dev implementation versus like users actually using it. So it's very important. It's still very important to show this off, just so you guys can see where we're at. Let me get back to.
I mean,
none.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff we're not really showing off Lumper right now. We showed off Lumper a little bit one stream, but Lumper's been where quite a lot of times also going with the zoning UI. I'm not quite sure where we're going to get to with zoning UI in the next like month or so. I think a lot of it has just been what should we call it? I'm rambling. I don't know what I'm talking
Let's see if I crash and burn here.
You probably won't have a map cache anymore. So.
I won't have a map cache, but I also think technically
I broke speedometer. Nice.
The game is going to be using oh, never mind. Yeah, that's fine. All right, let's see. Do I have maps? I do. Okay, I just don't have any of the. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, I'm good.
But a lot of the one last comment was like a lot of the stuff that is really hard for us on Momentum is these complicated systems that are kind of joining together. So map submissions, I would say we have kind of two really difficult things. There's map submission, which is a lot of different files and a lot of validation. And part of the reason that a lot of the stuff going wrong earlier was things that the validation was wrong, so the backend wouldn't accept certain stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of like just doing like a lot of user submitted content and doing it well and doing reviews of stuff and whatnot and like moderation and stuff is just really complicated. The other thing that's really hard is run submission and all that. And we already kind of have working run submission on Prio 10 stuff, but the future side of that is going to be a lot more elaborate. So these are kind of the two things that I'm like most scared of when it comes to like web systems, right? Is these like things that like have like 8 different moving parts.
Yeah.
Like spiders.
Yes. Well, I guess
exactly
the body
like
spiders are relatively stationary, but
until they're under your desk. Anyway, I am on the Steam build, so I could spec anyone. Let's see. Good. I'll spec Lodi. Let's get some surf going, and then switch over to game capture. Turn that off.
So hopefully next Q&A, just to say, so we'll have some run submission working by then. But that won't be like the full like 1.0 anti-cheat run submission stuff, but we'll have like basic run submission hopefully hooked up by hopefully next month. We'll see. Yeah. We have quite a lot of other stuff to do, but we'll see how it gets on. And that's got all the new replay stuff that Rio's been working on for the last 3 months.
Yeah.
And then so we might like show map submission again, but then we'll also show runs and stuff and all that. So do the same thing, but like a little more polished. That would be fun. Also, the one other thing we would really like to do is make zones actually look better, and we are going to do more of that. It's kind of we just don't really have a dev available to work on that, but we do want to.
Yeah, it's all about dev effort and free time. There's a lot of nice to haves and the need to haves, right? That's something that I actually need to be going through in a bit here. That I want to. We've talked about the alternate. Oh, whoops. Oh my God. We've talked about the alternate like roadmap that we're gonna have. We're effectively getting rid of O13 with just how much things are condensing down, which is really good. But we actually need to iron that out and get a concrete like, hey, this is like what we actually tangibly need to do. But yeah, let's see here. I guess we can go to our first asked question. If I can spec somebody. Game closed? Oh no.
Right.
I'll spec you when you get back. No worries. We got some classic crashes. Make sure you're
Okay.
opted into that.
Opted into the crashes, yeah.
Yeah.
Sign up to crash.
Yeah, please.
You can also opt out if you like, and the game is like incredibly stable.
Yeah, it's like really good, but please opt into crashing because we need to know where it crashes. Oh, that's a lovely map. World record. Let's go. Cool. Okay. All right. Lodi's back. Let's get our first asked question going. Our first asked questions going.
Can I read that?
Yes, go for it. You're very quiet now, though.
Yeah, your microphone's too far away, I think.
How about now?
Good.
Nothing changed.
I think
Did
it was a little bit louder. You also hit this.
Check.
Still quiet.
Is it using the right
No, that's
microphone?
That one. I'm gonna fix that.
Yeah, somebody else read this first question, I guess, while Happy fixes his mic.
I can do it. I'll fill in. All right, so we got 3 questions that are pretty similar. Phillips, we've already answered Phillips' question. When will Momentum be available for everyone? The playtest will be available for everyone at 0.10, which is aiming to be around the end of the year. You've seen progress, right? We're going to continually show it. We got September, October, November, and even the December one. Though we'll see what we do for December.
Yeah, I think we're probably like we've missed a lot of deadlines before when we said we want to get stuff in by a certain time, but we've been quite conservative, and I think 0.10 by the end of the year we probably will actually get. Like, there's a chance we don't because we end up having to like really do some other big thing because nothing works, but like it's hard to say what that would be.
That's why, that's why it's like so confident here because like we've planned out what we know 0.10 needs, and that's why we're able to be like, hey, we got all these systems in place, and now we just need to interconnect them, make sure it's all good, polish them, right? So, right by the end of the year makes sense, but again, volunteer work and stuff, right? Like it's not guaranteed or anything like that. So, but still, we really want to get it out by the end of the year, and we are well on track for that currently. There's nothing that I could see popping up. There's no new game modes we're gonna try to add.
Yeah, I think so. I think.
So like, there's nothing like that. So should be then. We will obviously be pinging our Discord when we push this update, and that's available. So just make sure that you're hanging out in the Discord and that you don't just rage quit the Discord like a lot of people unfortunately have already. And yeah, you'll be up to date with when we push that. Deeperthoughts asking, is there a specific day that we give out keys? No, it's usually just at the beginning of the week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Any one of those days we drop the 350. It's kind of just whenever I remember to. It isn't something that people should be looking forward to or like planning or like
You're so unlikely to get it.
Setting an alarm because you're very unlikely to get it. It's 350 dropped every week, and there are 34,000 people waiting in the queue. So I'll let you calculate
just
the
wait
odds
till
there.
I 10.
I think it's like
just stop thinking about it
or something chance.
Just forget about it till I 10.
That is the best option there, is to just wait for 0.10 and just hype up that. And then last but not least for this one, we have Grigorierr asking, will the game be free to buy? Absolutely. We actually can't sell it as part of our legal agreement with Valve. We can't make money directly from the game. So the game will be free. There's no in-game microtransactions or anything like that. However, if you do want to support us, we do have an open collective. If you like the work that we're doing and want to support the team, we'll also have other avenues to support the team in the future, like the soundtrack when we have that for the campaign, as well as merch. We do want to look into getting some merch and representing these modes physically in the real world as well. So stay tuned for that. We'll have way more updates about that, probably closer to like either 0.10 or 1.0. Like it's not on our minds right now because it's not super important for us to get a merch line going. That kind of seems sellout-ish before we do, before we even release the game. So
Nick, you should spec someone.
That's true. I was specking Lodi. Did it crash again? Or did it not spec? That's weird. I thought it was specking. That was weird.
Wow.
Anyway, Sorry about that. I didn't notice that. All right. Those are those 3 questions. Thank you for asking. It's usually newer people, which these people are. So, yeah, just stay tuned. It's free. Yeah, you'll get access without to know, and yeah, that answers those. So we'll move on to the next question here. Anybody else want to read them? I mean, I can continue.
If Happy is here. Oh no, he's
Muted and deafened, fixing mic still. Okay.
Let me read
Yeah,
the
go for
question
it.
then.
Yeah.
Trustyset asks, will there be a cosmetic rewards for completing challenges like the Halo 3 vidmaster achievements?
So I think we talked about
you-
this a while ago. It would be really cool to have. Oh, whoops! I gotta set a start mark. It'd be really cool to have cosmetics tied to milestones. So we talked about milestones a long time ago, but the idea with that being that there are goals that are incremental over time. So it's things like complete 100 surf maps, right? Completionist kind of challenges. We can't really tie them to rank because that fluctuates, right? As there's thousands of people that could beat your time and then kick you out of a cosmetic. So like we don't want to deal with that, but instead if we have things like, oh hey, beat 100 surf maps, or if we have a medal system, getting a par time or something, get par time on X number of maps or something like that, where it's incremental because we're going to be adding more and more things, right? Like people are making new maps, we'll be adding new maps. We're never going to remove really maps unless they break, some rules or something like that. So absolutely, I would love to have things tied to a challenge or like a progression there, because I think it's really important to be able to represent yourself in the game with these cosmetics for playing the modes. Playing the modes so frequently, or like being really good at the modes and playing all these maps. And same thing with like tiers and stuff. Like technically maps could be re-tiered in the future as more hard maps get added, right? Like Omnific used to be like, what was it, tier 6 Omnific used to be like the hardest thing, but now you have things, what was it, not like Overgrowth, I forget the name of the map, but there are harder maps now. I just forget the name of it right now, but that make tier 6 kind of feel a little like polluted, and that there's like easier tier 6 and stuff like that. So tying things to tier just might not work either. It's just better to do kind of like overall completion count challenges like that. But absolutely, we could tie it to that kind of stuff.
I think if it's a specific cosmetic for specific things, this is something that sounds like I can't really. Cosmetics right now are like a pretty loose idea. Like we don't actually have people on the team that are going to be making loads of cosmetics for Momentum. And I also, whilst we might get some basic cosmetic stuff in for 1.0, though I really don't think we should work on it after 1.0 because it is not that important a system, and we should release the game first. Like if we are doing that, it's much more likely to be a kind of community most focused system where community members can make cosmetics and submit them like via Steam Workshop or something, kind of like our TF2 does, right? More than doing something like really organized. We're not doing cosmetics as a commercial thing, and we're not going to have some people that are making hundreds of cosmetics for our game for free. Like making cosmetics takes a really long time. Like, Blizzard or whatever, will be paying people to employ people that are just constantly making like Overwatch cosmetics, that kind of thing. Like there's a whole thing. We're not going to have that for Momentum because we just don't have the devs for that. I think doing something so particular, like specific cosmetics for specific maps, that kind of thing, like it just doesn't sound very like. I don't know who would be making those specific cosmetics besides maybe like the mapper or something, or like. So it sounds a bit odd to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's the main thing with our cosmetics too is we want them to be impactful. Just having paint on a weapon isn't really that great, but like if we have things that are maybe like sets that like you could maybe piece together different parts of the set with different things, but like it's more like it really is just going to be the matter of like player value, right? Like we want to be able, like knives in CS:GO I think grew a lot of value because of the rarity of them in the chests, right? In the loot boxes, I guess. So like for our game, right, you can just the main thing with our game too is like you can always locally have whatever you want, right? You can always have a knife or whatever, like if you know how to hook it up, and we will probably have some guides on how to like make cosmetics, so you can very easily, just follow that guide and do it for a custom model that already exists or something. But right, with our cosmetics, that you like can, I guess, unlock through the store, or through challenges like this. We really want it to be like an impactful thing that you would be proud like to wear or show off in some capacity, right? So yeah, like it is just kind of an open idea right now of like what could be a cosmetic right now, but like how to get them, I think we have a good idea of like, as you play the game, you're going to be accruing this currency that you can use to unlock via a store, right? So there's no random chance, there's nothing. You work towards the things you want to get. The number of cosmetics is something of concern that we want to make sure that when we launch it, it's not just like 5 and everybody gets them. We want to make sure we have a good variety and a good number of like, I guess, like tiers, I guess, of cosmetics. So like legendary or whatever, right? Where it's like it takes a long time to get, or like you have to do a lot to get it. Like that's pretty important for us too. But yeah, I mean, absolutely, I want to tie some milestone stuff to cosmetics that represent maybe that mode, or the thing that you did the challenge for.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty good, and we could do that. That's not a problem. And keep in mind that with our approach of like you could do anything locally, we aren't networking custom stuff. That's the trade. So the things that you're unlocking. What was that?
People aren't gonna like care about the local only stuff that much, so I don't think.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
it's
and
like
it's more just kind of like showing off in your replays and stuff. So like realistically, like it's like the things that you can show off are like weapons, right? Your player model, trails, things like that. So like we really want to make sure that the cosmetics aren't so plentiful that it's like mind numbing to unlock all of them, and like kind of boring to where like I don't know.
It would have to be, because otherwise everyone just gets every cosmetic.
Well, that's the thing, is the price is going to dictate who gets what.
But that's the problem with the cosmetic system that's completely free like this. You potentially get people that like you either make like it really expensive to get cosmetics, and so new players are put off from like because they never really earn anything, or you make it so the people that are playing like Momentum for thousands of hours, which we already have, they just have everything, and so cosmetics don't really have any value.
Right.
And so I don't actually think we have a solution to this, by the way. Like I think we need. This is one of the reasons I'm so apprehensive about talking about cosmetic stuff, like on Q&A. Is I genuinely think like if we were to do cosmetics with our current plan, they'd just be worthless. And so, sorry, but like
I guess
I think to make cosmetics work, we will need to go back to the drawing board a bit and try to do something that's a bit more milestone-based things. I think are good because they're like in the sense that like then you have something like very concrete that you have to do to get them.
Yeah.
But then I just feel like a lot of these systems seems like things that should start out as like a thing that goes on like your profile on like the player card and stuff in Momentum, which we don't really have right now. We're going to be working on that more in the future. Those kind of unlockable things, and then they could be expanded into like game cosmetics and stuff in the future. But yeah, I think like doing a cosmetic system that works, but has the constraints of being cosmetics are free. There's no trading, but also like you want. I don't know how you do that system whilst not making it so everyone gets every cosmetic and therefore nobody cares about what cosmetic everyone has. Like, if it is purely just like dress up and people just want to put on what cosmetic they like, and it's kind of like no one's really impressed by like the rarity of other stuff, then it's fine. But I'm quite skeptical that we'll ever have a cosmetic system where like it has like a kind of genuine sense of like prestige for having certain things, unless we make stuff that's very, very, very hard to unlock. So I don't know, maybe ways of doing it, but I just think like.
I mean, eventually, like if we have the milestone stuff, you have to beat really hard maps. But that's the thing, is like there's also like quote unquote classic maps, right? Like Omnific, for example, right? Getting a cosmetic for beating Omnific could be doable, but it's like, why only Omnific, right? Like why, and it starts to turn into this like, what criteria does a map have to hit in order for a map specific cosmetic? so it'll be interesting. I mean, we do have the idea of gauntlet runs, right, with playtests, or not playlists, not playtest, with playlists in the future, right? You can queue up a bunch of hard maps, and then we could, like, if that's an official thing and you do all of them in one go or something, we could, like, tie a cosmetic to that, and that's like a hard thing to do on top of just beating those maps, right, individually. So, like, things like that. The main, like, I think approach that we're going to have to take with cosmetics is, first of all, what should be a cosmetic, like what's meaningful to have to go and try to unlock, and then from there, right, we can start to assign things like, we could look at other games, how other games do it, like Modern Warfare 2
The thing is, other games have budgets.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And we just don't have the budget for someone that's going to make loads of cosmetics.
Well, that's the thing.
Like, I mean,
that's the thing. We could outsource it to the community. It's just going to take a ton of time, and we would need to find.
Yeah, but try get like a community of like artists that are like actually going to make like exactly the stuff we want. Like that's always going to be like a. It's maybe possible.
Well,
but it's
is it something that we want, or is it
really
something that the community would want? Because what I was thinking is we could
a lot of people
use...
would be happy with just like player cards as well, right? Those are much easier to make.
Right,
You
that's
don't
the thing.
make
That's the
3D
thing.
models.
It's
like just
saying,
having
like,
nice player cards for certain milestones. It's just a way to show off without as much effort.
That's the main thing. It should be the milestone system should be implemented first, and that's something we can do in code.
Yeah.
And that can be like open source code and stuff like that. And then in the future, maybe we tie cosmetics to that stuff, but it's being, I think, just hopelessly naive to think that we're going to have people that want to make like all the different game mode cosmetics for like beating specific tiers at specific modes at specific tiers or whatever, that kind of thing, because that stuff takes a really long time to do and it's really boring and people aren't going to do that unless they're actually employed to do it. And so I just don't think it's like viable with our system, and I don't think we have the credibility to like say we can like we think this will work, because I just don't think it will. I think if we tried to do it, it would take years and not be very good. Sorry, I'm being really cynical today, but like I'm always cynical, I guess. But I do think like cosmetics are the system of like community-based cosmetics with like a Steam Workshop, where cosmetics are things you pay for with like the units you get for beating maps and maybe hitting certain milestones. If that's a big like hodgepodge of different random cosmetics and things, and it's all a bit kind of all over the place, that seems kind of okay and kind of doable, because people just make the cosmetics they want to make, and hopefully you do get quite a few modelers and people that do it. They will see. But what seems much harder is to try to like coordinate stuff so you get like, dozens of like the cosmetics for like the specific trophy we want, stuff like that, because it's just stuff that takes a really long time and is not very...
I think that having the community make core things like milestone trophies or things like that would not be good, because we should have a set design language that, for kind of more official things. But I still think that the community would be motivated to at least make something, and if we have the workshop in voting mode to where people can vote on like, hey, I would love to have this hat or something, right, for my character, like that's good enough for me, right? Because that is a really valid use of workshop, where kind of TF2 style, right, where you vote on these official things that then just get straight up added to the game and you can unlock it. Obviously TF2 you have to fucking buy it, but like for us it would be in the store, and like we would set the pricing and everything. But it would be really cool to have this this like community aspect of like, it's not just our game, right? Like I think it'd be pretty pessimistic to think that the community would never want to make something. I think it could work. But it's not that they
wouldn't want to make anything. It's more like they just won't make that much stuff, and so you end up with a relatively small pool of cosmetics, and therefore no one cares about cosmetics.
But it could also be a positive feedback loop of like, oh, hey, these really cool cosmetics were community made. I'm gonna give it a shot and try to make one too. Like that kind of stuff, I think would really shine if we set up the right system for it.
Maybe it's just a...
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. We shouldn't launch a cosmetic store or anything with a handful or something, but we should show that it works. I think milestone cosmetics are probably the first ones that are going to come in, getting things related to just your own progress, because that is important, and then getting a kind of store, because you will be getting a currency as you play the game. It's just a matter of like seeing like how much currency people have, and like, how much should things be worth and how cool they are, versus like, maybe somebody's like or like a lesser expensive thing could just be more of a starter cosmetic or something like that. I mean, yeah, like we might also, we don't need to do the store at the same time. We could also just make it all progression based, and then that way it's just a matter of like we just need to make sure we get a consistent set of cosmetics, and that would probably be harder to make. But yeah, I think it's still worthwhile to try to open it up to the community to get a lot of creative minds in momentum in some way, in some official capacity. And
Yeah, I think
yeah.
I think we could try that after 1.0 when the game's been out for a bit, and if the game's really popular and people want more stuff to like be showing off on their character, then we could do it. It's just that anything we try to do before 1.0, I think we'll get a relatively small people and end up with something just very lackluster.
Yeah.
And so I just think for me, cosmetics is something where we should not be like. I get that the Q&As are like a way to talk about new stuff, so I'm sorry if I come across as quite cynical about a lot of these kind of future things. I guess my feeling is, given that like the game's been in development for a really long time, we've got all this stuff that we're doing that's already really hard and takes lots of time, then saying like, oh, we want to do this other future system, but then it's not even that clear that the system's that desired by the community. What people actually seem to be asking us for quite a bit is paid cosmetics and like an actual trading system and stuff. That seems something that people are actually quite interested in. But I don't like the actual system, like this kind of free cosmetic system stuff. I'm not sure how much. Like, I don't know. Maybe people like it. Maybe it could work. It's just, it's like it's a really big long-term goal, and it's not something that's like I'm even that confident would work anyway. So I just sorry to be so like cynical on this,
It's
but
okay.
I do think like it's a little like
it's easy to be
Yeah.
cynical about it. I mean, it's because we are a niche game. We're a niche kind of project. I mean, the numbers are a little wild. Like we have like what 80,000 people signed up for playtests with like 40 in, 30 waiting. or
Yeah,
something
okay,
like
but
that.
then
But like it turned like my main thought around this is just really embracing the community, because we should like in some aspect, and I think this is a really good aspect. It's just, yeah, it's hard to know if it'll be things like, oh, I'm just gonna port the fucking like karambit skins and it's like, oh, okay,
yeah,
like, that's
right.
not
That's the
great.
thing is people are just gonna
Um,
want that.
you're
Like,
right,
yeah, we're not gonna let them do that, and then I don't know, like it's
But having like unique sticky bomb ideas, like False's hedgehog stickies and things like that, like having those unique ideas come out naturally and embracing that through the community
you just
is
need
really
loads of them, though.
important.
Is the problem. Yeah. The issue is just you just need a really active game to do that in the first place, and
Yeah.
hopefully momentum does end up being like a really active thing like that. But like until we reach a point of having, just loads and loads of people playing momentum, which hopefully we do, it just seems like a bit. I just don't have enough confidence to like really be that keen on cosmetics. So
It's just
I'm
it is
Nick's
going to be
like
a wait and
little.
see. I think we need to set up
Uh,
what the what should be cosmetic, right? Like once we get that answered, we can really start to see like what we want to do as a team to make it a consistent design language, and then what can start to go off the rails with like, okay, like allowing, was it the Seagaz helmet or something for DRAC, like things like that, where it's just like it's a unique take on something for the game that would be worth putting into the game and having some way to unlock it. Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah, it's
keep in
just
mind
that
we're gonna have things like tournaments too. So if we're gonna have tournament badges, we could have tournament cosmetics as well. More exclusive cosmetics that are time based that you have to be around. We will have seasons. We're gonna have seasons of leaderboards where it's a rotation of maps with fresh leaderboards to see how competition's going for these things. So there are opportunities for unique and like kind of like restricted cosmetics that would be challenge based in some of these instances, right, where you have to compete in a fucking tournament or something, right? So like there's definitely avenues, but it's really just a matter of answering what should be cosmetic and getting that documented, and then starting to maybe just query around the community. We could have things be free, or like we could have things like just be like, hey, this is our ideas for it, and then these are the only cosmetics for now. We're going to collect a ton of them if there's enough interest. I think an open workshop will help with that, with gauging how much the community would want to create or like add specific things into the game.
It's just that
So like there's definitely like ways to gauge interest, and like we could kind of base it off of that. So that we don't add a store and then not have enough interest, and then it's like, oh fuck, what do we do with the store? We're not getting enough cosmetics for it. Versus like, oh, we have the milestone ones and the event ones, but we could, like, if there's enough interest and enough people making things, we could have a store and like you could go and buy.
But the point, right. It's just the point I'm making is right now the game does have a store. It has like a shopping cart button on the top now we got rid of the shopping cart button. It's just a coat hanger icon right now.
The wardrobe.
But we've already like kind of planned it out to the extent we're saying we think we want to put it in the game. But actually, like, my point is I don't think we have anything like enough information to know if this is even possible to do. But we would need to test the water, see how active the game is, and then how many people actually want to make cosmetics before we actually commit to doing this. So why do you think with cases like this? Because in the past, I think we have been too ready to say we're going to do this big new future thing, whilst we're like decade almost into development, and there's still the space game's still not out.
Yeah,
we can talk about all this future stuff all we like, but actually, it should it doesn't. But we're talking about future stuff, but we don't even know if we like have the capacity to do. Like, we don't know if we will have enough people doing cosmetics to make it not a system that just sucks. Like, and to my mind, I'm going to be really honest here. My guess would be, even if Momentum does really quite well in terms of player numbers and stuff, that if there's no kind of financial incentive around any of the cosmetic stuff, that we would not get very many cosmetics, and it would just not be a particularly compelling system. Like, we might get lots, but it seems very contingent, very unclear.
That is a good point. Like, I mean, it would be good to know if TF2 hat makers are financially motivated to make them, or like they just love the game.
No, they are, aren't they? You get a.
Well, you do get a cut, but yeah, is that the reason why they're making it? Like that, it would be good to know. Like, it's.
You think the people making money doing a thing are doing it because they get money? Like, I'm sure they like
some
it.
People love the community and want to.
But also, TF2 is a much bigger game, right? And has like an existing economy that people are invested in. Also, it has an economy, right? Whilst our system is just. I'm not saying that our system isn't potentially possible. I'm just saying we don't have anything like enough information currently to know if it is like even like a plausible thing.
Yeah.
So I just think cosmetics, when we talk about cosmetics, really should be a kind of future plan that we might do, but we shouldn't talk about it in such concrete terms because it's just it's wishful thinking, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, I'd like this to work. It's just there's loads of things I'd like to work in this game, and Also, the other thing I wanted to say is just that cosmetics are like a thing that kind of extends on existing systems we're already doing.
Stage 1.
Like,
I'm not tier 3 server.
This map's like awkward. But like we are having a leveling system, which is basically goes up in the same way that like your cosmetics goes up. Like, you own the cosmetic currency through leveling up, right? We're going to have lots of user stats and stuff that hopefully motivate people to play the game and do better and do new things in the game, right? And we're going to have things like milestones, all of that stuff. This is all stuff that doesn't require a bunch of artists, and that I think a lot of people will be also interested in. Like Theo says in chat, like text-based flares, things like that, just little icons that show up in lobbies, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Those things are much easier to do and things that we actually can like tangibly work on in the near future. And already we do some of that with XP stuff and leveling stuff and all that current stuff.
Yeah.
To my mind, cosmetics are just a kind of wishful distant thing that is not very helpful to think about right now, because they seem like they might naturally extend from like the current systems in the future, but I'm just so much more interested in doing the current systems well. Maybe it's because I just don't care that much about cosmetics, but also I think the fact that there isn't going to be an economy or trading means it's so that like
only progress. Yeah,
I don't know. It's just cosmetics are just so much harder to do than like things that show up in UI, right? Because like actually making models well takes a really long time. So, yeah, we've been on this for quite a while, so I think we should probably move on. But I'm like constantly like on Nick's shoulder, kind of like prodding him to be like the cynic behind him all the time. But I do think with cosmetics, I'm kind of I'll be annoying about cosmetics. No, I think it's justified, I'm afraid.
Next questions are also related to cosmetics.
Yes.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? Helipektiker, right? What kind of cosmetics will there be and how many? Well, we just speak about it. And then will there be a witch hat? He wants a witch hat.
Can I just start by saying, like, the reason I'm making the points I am is that when some people ask what kind of cosmetics there will be, we don't know. The reason I'm so skeptical about cosmetics, we don't have a bunch of Momentum team members who will want to make loads of cosmetics and stuff. We have some. Ethan False, our main modeler, is great. He's an excellent modeler and has done our weapon models and stuff, and they're great. He's not offering to do these, right? Like, it's loads and loads and loads of work, and it's actually pretty thankless and pretty tiresome doing like endless kind of cosmetics and stuff. They're surprisingly hard to do. All modeling takes just a long time, a lot of work. So this is the kind of like, what cosmetics will there be? There's stuff that we would like to do, but and I think maybe after 1.0 we'll have a lot of people playing the game and lots of people that are like decent modelers that want to get involved with Momentum and do cosmetic. If so, then great. Then we can actually have like a coherent like art style for stuff and all that. It's just right now we don't actually know. Like, Nick might say we want to do like these cosmetics, but until we get 1.0 out and see who actually wants to work on that stuff, and if there are more people that want to work on it than currently do want to work on it, we don't know. So
I think hats can be a cosmetic. So answering this question a little more directly.
Oh, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of answered it in the last one. I think that as long as we have cosmetics that have an impact in how you represent yourself in the game, it's worthwhile, right? So like they have to be worthwhile cosmetics, right? Like, so once we figure out exactly the what, I think that starts to open the question of like, you know, are there people that would want to design these? Doesn't have to be exactly on our team. I think the ones on our team or like close to the team should be maybe official trophy or like, you know, like official progress related ones, probably for the milestones. But like the ones that you can just buy that go onto your character in some capacity, I think that could be community. That's where I am kind of like drawing like the, hey, like community, like, you know, kind of go crazy. Like you can make hats, you can make, you know, custom weapon skins, custom like custom models for like what you shoot or anything like that. I think once we get that what ironed out and like these are like the areas of cosmetics that we want to have, I think it's just a matter of like gauging community interest in that. Which yeah, absolutely, right after 0.10, maybe even 1.0, we will have that discussion because we want to we really like, I would love to have right community expression via cosmetics, right? I want there to be representation from artists of all kinds, right, in this game in some capacity, and not everyone needs every cosmetic. In fact, right, like if we have a limited category set, like you won't be able to even equip all of them all at the same time or anything, right? So it's just a matter of like having those categories defined and then gauging community interest in it. Oh, there's some cake. Let's go. Portal. Portal asset. Illegal. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we're going to delete this map.
Yeah, and that cake is getting fucking
I think we'd
deleted.
allow this. I don't think Valve's going to get upset that we use the cake from Portal or someone to pack that into a map. I don't think we'd disallow that. Yeah. Lumper will bring it up. Lumper will point out that they're using the portal cake assets, but we wouldn't. Yeah. I don't think we'd make them remove that.
It's a bonus. Oh shit.
Something like a witch's hat. That's the kind of thing that if we do end up getting lots of community people that want to do like custom cosmetics and stuff, that's the kind of thing that they might make and could. Oh, nice Vivis.
Yeah. What is this? Yeah. Is this a lumper bug or something? But, that's weird.
This isn't.
But yeah, so it's not bad timing or anything. I grouped these for a reason, right? We're talking about them. So again, it's something that we just need to figure out the what, and it has to be meaningful. And hats are meaningful, right? Your player model and what people can see is pretty meaningful. Where do we go? Oh,
yeah, but you just have to have a large enough pool for that stuff to be meaningful. It's like if everyone has a gibbous in TF2, right? But no one's like. Actually, I do like having.
We love an ironic gibbous. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my. That's my actual go-to hat in TF2. But you know what I mean? Like the people aren't going to be expressing themselves if everyone's expressing themselves in the same way. Like that just doesn't make it.
If there's a handful,
so, like,
handful of cosmetics.
Hopefully, we get people that want to do cosmetics, but until like basically the way me and Nick differ here is Nick kind of wants to say like plan out this system and before we
1.0, yeah.
Know what kind of interest we've got, yeah.
Whilst I want to know what kind of interest before we plan the system. And so I don't know how we actually want to approach cosmetics because I don't know how many people are going to make cosmetics.
But like, we don't know what cosmetics we want to have, so yet.
Well, that's the thing, but we can like be and so we can be super vague about stuff and talk about all these different things that people could do, but like before we actually like know how many people are actually going to make cosmetics, like we can't really know how the cosmetic system's going to work.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if we are designing this system, if we're talking about this stuff right now, before 1.0, we have to be like open to the idea that, well, we might just have barely any people submitting cosmetics. What do we do in that case? How do we design the cosmetic system around that? Like, can we make it so it doesn't feel like you have a giver situation and like that people just find the cosmetics just look a bit pathetic? Because I'm worried that it will, because if like we make a big deal about the cosmetics and then there's like 10 of them, then we look silly. But if it finds like, okay, we only are going to get 10 people making cosmetics, or we're only going to get, well, like we're not getting very many and they're all, the people making them aren't necessarily that skilled, then maybe we do just focus on them as a milestone thing, or just a tournament thing or something, or like, we might just be more like, I just think the whole system is too unclear right now for us to really have any kind of strong goals, because we don't have the information sufficient to like form that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, I'm the cynic, but I just want to make fun profile stats and badges and things, because those things are easier, but also like they're more fine-grained. Like statistics tell you more than like what some random hat someone has because they beat some map 2 years ago.
And I mean, we can use other games' cosmetics as inspiration as well. Like, there's the was it the like kill counter things from CS:GO that we could do things like, oh, how many like runs you've submitted or something for a mode, or
right?
something
But that's
like that.
So that would be like a kind of profile thing. That kind of like that. Those stats are things that can show up on people's profiles, and those can be interesting.
Yeah.
Like I'm all for like making it feel like Momentum has like a progression, like you gain something from playing it more, and even if you're not kind of necessarily improving that much of the mode, you're still like kind of feeling like you kind of earned something when you do things. I just don't think that cosmetics are. There's a good chance that cosmetics will be a bit of a kind of feeble system because we won't have enough of them, or they won't be high quality enough, such that like it's just not actually. Cosmetics aren't a good way in that case to do that, to give people that kind of feeling of progression. So I don't know. I think we'll see. Like cosmetics might turn out really well. It's just my hunch is that without people getting paid to make cosmetics, that we won't get very many of them, and they won't be very good. They might be good, but who knows?
I mean, yeah, it's hard to gauge quality before we even really know. I think just having like an open green field of like, hey, you guys can make things in these categories, and using something like, why did I restart again?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, we need them to have like we need to get to gauge that interest first before we like implement this whole system. I think I'm saying we shouldn't write a whole cosmetic system.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I'm on the same page there. I don't think we should implement the system. I think we should understand what we want to have for cosmetics that would be meaningful, and then from there whittle it down to categories that make sense, and then and then gauge interest. So I think we're on the same page. I don't think I don't want like a cosmetic store until we have like confirmation around like are we gonna have enough interest to
I think the main reason I'm just being a bit of an arsehole about this stuff is that like people watching this Q&A are going to be watching it thinking like, oh, when's Momentum coming out? And then we're talking about this like distant cosmetic system for half an hour. And so maybe I should just shut up and let you say your thing and we'll move on.
We're okay. It's okay.
To be another thing is we've not really spoke about cosmetics very much internally in the last like couple of years. We talk about it from time to time, but we generally work on the day-to-day stuff, right? That's like what our actual focus is. So it's very easy to like prattle on about this for ages. It's just and so I don't mean to be like totally dismissive of cosmetic stuff. And if we get lots of modelers who are interested in doing the stuff, then great. But and also modeling is, I guess, not like mapping in that you have to use Helmerz, something really old. With 3D modeling, like you can be good at 3D modeling in general and then make stuff for Source if the like guidelines are good for how to do the rigging and stuff. For like just static cosmetic things, you don't have like skeletons and stuff. Like might mean we get quite a few people. I don't know. Should we move on?
Yeah. Yep. Let me see
Mic
if I can
check. Does it work?
Yes.
Yeah, you're sounding much better
Hey,
now.
there you go.
I'm
There
sorry.
were 2 questions in this one, but you kind of answered the other one, so that's fine.
Yeah, I think so. Like the inspiration from other games, no givers. Well, givers would be funny actually. I like the givers.
Okay, we're moving on the next one.
Yeah. Yep.
SouthernCure asks, will there be an option to have different settings for different game modes?
Yes. We'll do it eventually. I want this so badly. It's just
Yes.
really annoying to do. We will do it eventually. We have answered this before a couple of times, I think, so maybe not talk about it too much, but Overwatch does this quite well. I've always thought the like hero-based selection stuff will do something kind of similar to that. It's just right now our settings in general are just a bit incoherent. Like there's just so much stuff. Mac's been working on that a little bit lately.
Well, I've
but-
been thinking about working on it lately.
Yeah. Well, sorry, I'm just gonna like press you into working on it. But the gamer specific stuff we absolutely should have. It's just quite annoying to implement, and one of the things is like it doesn't really hit a certain milestone, and it's also very boring to work on. So it's quite hard to get developer interest in that. Usually for devs, you need something that's like fun to work on, like a game mode, or like milestone. We have to get this out for some milestone. That being said, I do really think we should try to get this in for 1.0 because. Yeah. The other thing is like with sub modes, it gets a bit complicated. You need a way to like copy settings between different modes, or like make them share the same settings thing, like with 3 defrag sub modes, or you make it like only like game mode category based, like just defrag is just one thing.
Yeah.
But then what if you wanted to customize it for like VQ3 versus CPM, that kind of thing? Like it just gets like it's these kind of annoying kind of UI UX things that we need to get ironed out and then just make. But some of these things we have been doing, like for instance, like safeguards is another thing I've spoken about a lot, about something that is not a milestone thing, but something we really have to improve for 1.0. And we've not worked on those in a couple of months. It's been kind of sitting in review, but Bird's done a lot of work on actually improving safeguards.
Yes.
Those are kind of the 2 things I have in my head as being the things that like we really need to do as like a kind of UX thing that like right now just feels like we attempted it a little bit and didn't do it well enough. And yeah. Sorry, I kind of stole that question, but yeah, this is like my
it was your
my pet kind of thing. My did you say my weehole?
No, your
weehow?
wheelhouse. Your wheelhouse.
Weehow. Yeah. Oh shit, Nate, you got to play Conk after this.
Oh snap.
Oh snap.
Oh, we got some. Oh wait, we're good.
Nice. Yeah, can someone do that again, please? Just keep making echo. Shall we move on? I did that one really quickly, but I think
that's
we've
fine.
done it a couple of times before, and
it's all good. Next one. This one's
Fat
really quick.
Fatcloudripper asks, will serve be default 66 ticks for leaderboards?
Yeah, that's the only leaderboard. Well, we may do a different submode of stuff that's 100 tick, but it would be a whole different like submode because it's a whole change of like if you do like half sideways and stuff, like that's different if it's 66 versus 100, right? It's like it completely makes like a whole unique set of like all the existing stuff. You're then doubling it if you then add a different tick rate. So we could do it, but maps are made for 66 tick.
Yeah, nobody plays outside of 66 tick for the most part, surely.
Well, some people do, but I think part of the reason some people like it is that you go faster in it and maps are easier to beat. But yeah, Lodi, that's what I'm saying is they're not modifiers or like styles. If you want to like by modifiers, I mean like half sideways or whatever. Like that's the thing is like tick rate like changes everything. So if you do 100 tick surf as well as 66 tick, then you're gonna have a leaderboard for like 100 tick half sideways and then a leaderboard for 66 tick half sideways, all that stuff. And so like we try to avoid stuff that is gonna like balloon out the number of leaderboards. Look at that dog. That's awesome.
It's an awesome dog.
That guy's crazy.
He's bouncing.
But yeah, you will be able to change the tick rate just with SV cheats. If you want to play on 100 tick, it just won't upload to the global leaderboard.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Thank you for that question.
Yeah, racing frizzes. Oh, there's one that I want to talk about a little bit later because I want to. There's one that I'm looking forward to.
SouthernCure also asks, some maps require specific settings to be beatable, IG maxvel, max velocity. I'm guessing, will maps be able to have different settings like this?
Yes.
We showed this already. Well, it was on the screen at least. The news only one has the text box for this. We didn't talk about it, but yeah, you can change it via that. This is the only property that's like that, though. Maxwell is actually the only thing that you can do like this. Like usually we don't allow like different physics properties. So no, AirXL is something that's constant. You can't change the AirXL of your map. AirXL is like a game mode only thing. So Maxwell is actually like the only one, which is interesting, but.
Because it's when you start changing things like tick rate or gravity or things like that, while it's a nice mechanic, we need to have some sort of base for what players should be expecting for modes. So things like AirXL and tick rate, overall gravity. You can have gravity modifiers in your map, obviously, but like we want to make sure people have a core base so that they learn and improve on the base mode, and then these maps that have kind of more gimmicky things, or I should probably just slow down there. What the fuck am I doing? That have these like core or these gimmicky kind of things that they do is still allowed. It's just going to be in specific like regions that are hopefully able to be conveyed in some way, right? Where where it's like an area, right? Like the upside down or not upside down, like the anti-grav, right? Where you're pinned up against the ceiling or something. It's very cool. It's just we don't want surf to be equated to like, oh, that's how you play surf. God damn it! Almost made it.
But that's another point. Oh, sorry. Do you want to?
No. Yeah, that's all I was gonna say.
I was just gonna say that the typical way that a lot of maps do this currently is they use like point server command, or I think it's server command, right? Yeah. Which basically literally has the effect of changing a conv, like a runtime value of the sorry. What do we call this one? Is maxvel. So SV max velocity, like on the server that affects every client connected to that server, and that's just like an entity in the map that does it. That's quite jank. What we're doing is we're making it so it's part of the zone system rather than the entity, and the momentum just sets it based on the zones. And so you could do it with the entity as well, but I think for momentum we will strip them out. But that way we can show it in UI and make it super clear. Because kind of the thing that kind of worries me most about this is like it's not nice to have like physics changing and stuff that are like obscured. It's not clear that like it's changed. Maxwell's not too bad because you only notice that once you hit 3500, but like not this map.
Which map? Okay, hold on. Gordy redeemed it. Which map would you like me to play, Gordy?
Kinda any, but like, let's see. What is the latest one? The Pixies?
Can we play one with lighting?
I remember you played Drive 2. Can you play XTC?
You ever finish Rax?
I've not, but it's not tier 1.
It's like tier 2 or 3. You can do Rax.
Play Hinkle. Play Hinkle.
Let me see.
It's tier 2, so I guess you can do it.
Okay, yeah. Kong Hinkle. But yeah. Okay, cool. Was there anything else for SouthernCure's question here? No? All right. Thank you for that question. We'll move on to the next one.
EX asks, Valve just banned null beans. Will that have any impact on momentum?
Nope.
Well, we've seen how great the ban has been going in CS, where people are just getting false flagged left and right.
Yeah. Valve, like, in the past have had a reputation of being quite good at this stuff and, like, thinking about these things, and with this, they don't seem to have. It's hard to see how this system ever really works for them, like, their current approach. It just seems quite naive. So, like, yeah. Like, we spoke to Gamecast about this a bit in the last couple of weeks, so Gamecast is the main dev working on Climb, and Climb's arguably the mode that's most affected by this, right, because you're, like, doing these kind of, like, really, really heavy strays, so you want to get the most amount of speed you can, like, just with, like, a single jump. And he was saying, like, there's not a reliable way to do it, to ban nulls in a way that's actually, like, fair. And, like, it just doesn't really work. And it just seems so much easier to just give everyone access to nulls. And yes, people will complain about that, but yeah.
Okay, that teleports. Yeah, it's for a while we've been basically just always on the side of nulls because there's always been hardware that just inherently does it. And then the idea of banning it is just it's just not possible because right, like it's just, I mean, it's hard, and Valve are figuring that out, so it's fun to see what's coming out of Valve's ban for it, but I have a feeling They might.
The only proper way to do it will be to make it intentionally worse.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised they pushed that live.
Yeah.
Like, it is genuinely like, I shit on Valve a little bit too much, but this is genuinely quite amateurish the way they've done it. Seems like it's just really clueless. Like, it's really weird, and it's not like them. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Was there actually like some outcry from the community of people just whining about the new keyboards that have got built-in nulls?
No, I don't think so. Like, there were people who said that like getting these keyboards with null binds like built in will make you like a better player or something. But then at the same time, everyone who wanted to have null binds, they had it before that with just basic config and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is like Razer came out. Well, it was Razer, right? They came out with
144
keyboards,
hertz.
like,
It was booting and
144
Razer.
hertz.
yeah, it's cheap. Well,
It's
no,
the
it's
same
50.
shit.
No, it's
You know,
using
ban
more.
144 hertz monitor.
Yeah, no, using more than 60 is basically cheating. Right? Like,
I didn't know you could stand on this.
No.
All right, let's go.
But like, that's the thing, is that it's in a game where you could already do it, right? I don't know with CS2 scripting, right? If you could do it just using like.
You could in CS2
Yeah,
could use CFG. Yeah.
So Razer come out announcing this thing where they're basically advertising a thing, and I think Razer came out saying it was like really good in CS, right? I think that people can already do. I think competitive games ban it, but like, loads of people are already using them, right? For
Well, again, it does give you an advantage if for people like who don't use any CFGs or who don't use any like keyboards like that. But at the same time, yeah, the solution there will be just to give this kind of more like feature to everyone. You can't ban it.
Yeah. So everybody has nulls on by default.
We do need to improve the settings for it. Our settings are like indecipherable for what we call them. It's like called like allow overlapping keys.
Okay.
We named them allow. It should just be nulls. It should genuinely just say nulls needs to be.
Yeah, and then
in the
we
name.
just explain what null binds are. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's a
people
better way
that
to do
don't
it.
know that, but like it's so like it doesn't help to like do like the really technical explanation that like does make sense. But like when someone's scrolling through a settings menu trying to find a specific setting, they're not going to read through every single thing, being like, oh, does this correspond to like this notion I have? Like, if it's not something like really immediately obvious, and allow overlapping keys just isn't. So we should just call it nulls, and yeah. But yeah, so yeah, nulls are on by default. You can turn them off. So it doesn't ruin them. And I guess sorry. The thing that's good for us, like this whole thing of Valve making an idiot of themselves, like, is that for the people then in Momentum being like, oh, why is nulls, like, it gives us more of a reason and makes us look more correct. Sorry, it sounds really smug, but like it kind of proves our point that like it's not a good system, because Valve have tried to do it and ban it for everyone, done an appalling job of it, and then basically given nulls even more attention than they had before, so more people are now going to just like, yeah, it's silly.
Yeah.
They've shown it how hard it is. Shown how hard it is for us to ban nulls. Make it clear that you can't do it very well, even though they seem to have not done a very good job at it. Anyway, like as a mechanism for banning nulls, if it's getting false positives, you've not done a good system. But
should we move on?
Yeah. Thank you for this question, but yeah, it's not gonna have any impact on us. All right. Moving on.
Next question. Helipektiker asks, will there be a hub area where you can try out techniques?
Yes.
Could I take this? Sorry, I know I've been answering a lot.
No, you go for it. Yeah,
unfortunately, Lumia's not here. Lumia would be like the best person to answer this. But me and Lumia have been talking about the Learn section quite a lot recently. We're kind of not working on Learn that much right now because we're focusing on O10 and we want to work on it more after O10's out. We're both really keen on making Learn more about a place to kind of try out and play around and practice techniques, and like just to kind of like, it doesn't really help to just give someone like some specific surf ramp and just say, just do this, and now you've learned the technique. This is how you do a spin in surf, and you give them a spin, and that's not really how people learn. It's a good way of telling you what a spin is, but it's not telling you, or like it's telling you something. It's not showing you. It's not giving you like it's saying how to do something isn't equivalent to helping someone get good at doing it, right? And so with Learn, we're really keen on focusing more on like teaching these like very basic skills and then offering like a lot more repeatability. And so we already had this playground thing. Ninja Cookie did a great job of it with the B-hop playground thing. We'd like to do more of that, but also focus like the kind of, for learning the future, really focused on like the kind of tier 0 to tier 1.5-ish kind of like techniques, and just giving people like a chance to like learn the basics. And that also fits in better with like, we really want to just encourage people to play specific maps or just play maps in general. And so for something like learning the basics of surf or b-hop or any of these modes really, we want to learn like a play to like learn the very basics and just get kind of comfortable with stuff, and then as opposed to like teaching them like, oh, this is like all the techniques you need for tier 1 and then all of them for tier 2 or whatever, and then you just do them once and you're supposed to like, that doesn't really help you, right? Like it should be like, if you're like playing say surf beginner and you reach stage 2 and you don't know how to do the like 90-degree turn to reach the end of it, which is a terrible stage, and I love surf beginner because it's a really bad beginner map. Like the difference from stage 1 to surf 2 or surf beginner like is not how you learn to surf, right? You want to give people like way more opportunity to just play around, just get used to the idea that like you kind of move in the direction your mouse does, and the idea that like strafing is important. And so this is the important thing. This is what Learn should really be doing, in my opinion, and also Lumia's. If Nick wasn't midway into a run, I'd ask him to show off surf beginner. But for those who know what I mean, like if you like really beginner surfers, like are gonna struggle to like do a 90-degree turn right smoothly, like that kind of thing. And just giving people the opportunity to just like practice doing that is really helpful. So in some cases, it really is better to just, rather than give you like a like surf ramps to work with, just let them strafe around in some area, just do basic kind of strafe training stuff, because that's a really important skill to learn. Once they've learned the basics of strafing, then get them onto surf ramps, but give them loads of opportunity to see how like strafing into a surf ramp gives you speed and like just the feel of it, the kind of stuff that's very hard to explain verbally. That's the thing we should be focusing on teaching, right? It's so much of these modes is about not just muscle memory, but like a kind of, it's very hard to explain like exactly how you should move your mouse in surf, right? Exactly how like moving your mouse leftwards while surfing on the right side of a surf ramp, like exactly what you should be doing there to surf well, right? And it's something where you just kind of need to give people the opportunity to play around and get used to it. And so hub area to try out techniques. I don't know if it would be hub area exactly, but like I kind of like that. It's something where you can just kind of, you're just not too much UI, just you have to click through lots of menuing and stuff, but like just a place to play around and get a feel for like these kind of very kind of primitive things. And then in the future we can absolutely have more of the kind of more advanced techniques, but like the focus, especially with 1.0 coming out eventually, and like hopefully getting a lot of people that are trying out these game modes for the first time, should really be about giving them like a soft landing and making it so that like initial skill ceiling that is really pretty steep for basically all of these modes is like, you know, alleviated and isn't like as intimidating. And yeah, sorry, it's a real ramble, but yeah. So then, rocket jump and sticky jump hub, like, sorry Nick, do you want to, can I just finish this, or do you want to, you go.
Oh.
Okay, sorry. So rocket jump, sticky jump, like a lot of that would be. Where have you gone?
I guess I landed behind it. I overshot it.
A well-made funnel.
I like the funnel.
Great stuff. Oh, it's actually not. It's not. Could be a bit rounder maybe, but like rocket jump and sticky jump, like I think a lot of that is just, it's a bit harder because it's not. I don't know. You like. A lot of it's about strafing. I think, though I'm not really a jump person as much, so I don't know as well. We were messing around on Jump Academy a little bit, me and Lumia the other week. And like I like how the first course of like the Jump Academy strafing is literally like not a jump, it's just like turn around a 180 and like land on a platform behind you. And it works great because it's like a thing that you really need to kind of understand to do the basics of jump stuff. But like it's really hard to kind of concretely say exactly how a hub should work or what should be in it, because I think a lot of it is just about giving people lots of stuff to play around with. So maybe actually doing just a whole hub as opposed to like any UI for like specific sections, and it's literally just a big playground. Like we kind of already have that a bit for B-hop, but maybe really leaning into that could work well, because a lot of it is just about gaining a feel for stuff, and a good way to do that is to just play around with lots of different things. If I wanted to be really pretentious, I could start talking about John Dewey and like education theory and stuff, but I won't. Also, I don't know very much about it, but like, give people the tools and things to play with, to like, but then let them experiment themselves, and that's how you learn, as opposed to tell people. Like that's where.
Yeah.
Like,
there was also talk about the hubs being a nice area to hang out.
Yeah.
having it be a kind of casual, like, hey, check out these cosmetics and stuff like that I got.
Also, kind of thinking about the hub world, we have this like background stuff where, like, with all the like parts of different game modes on the moving background, you know. This one in the main menu, on the website, and this one could actually become a hub world, like where you, with all the like little pieces of the game modes, so like where you can again like test out the different like features of the game modes and play around to speak with other people and stuff. So like it could be some kind of like base or like the how it will look, kind of guess.
Yes,
It could
our branding kind of like the white, and blue, very contrasty, very kind of Mirror's Edge looking, like that kind of stuff is so good, and I really want that to be our learn section and hub world like theming. I think all we need for it really is a subsurface scattering shader for the crystal.
It's really hard. Like doing like that's another good question for Lumia actually. But doing like it's kind of subsurface, but it's also kind of sort of refraction. Like there's ways to do it. It's just it's stuff that kind of exists in Source already, but like we don't really use it. Like there's
casually
some of the
juggling my way up
to do it. You're actually doing this well. Fucking hell. Like, that's solid. That kind of really like high contrast stuff I think is good, but keep in mind with something like surf ramps, it's really important to be able to see like definition in surf ramps and like where like having like grids and things in lots of modes are really helpful because it helps you know how fast you're going. And so having like a kind of just a kind of big flat kind of crystal ramp looking thing does not work well as especially in surf, but in other modes as well, because you don't really have good like kind of speed perception from it.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to have like more detail than just flat. I really want it to have like I want it to be kind of translucent and stuff. Like it'd be really cool to have just like a style that's used in our branding, then used in kind of one of the first things that you play right in the game. Like that would be amazing.
If it works, yeah, it does seem I think if we were to do something that we tried to make our game stuff look like exactly like the current background stuff, I think with stuff like surf ramps you'd run into the visual clarity issue, and the depth perception and kind of speed perception. So it can definitely be refined, like Lodi says. But this is something like with learning the future. Like it would be great to like actually start thinking about the art style stuff of it. We brought someone on that we sort of I don't know. We might see more art stuff in the future, but we'll see. We just not really a great
get
at the moment.
Department figured out after we
get I just say
core systems in.
Just on the topic of learn, if I say one last thing, is that we will probably after O10 start looking for more people that want to get involved with that, because we have some game modes that just aren't getting worked on at all, but also bringing like some new blood on could be really good. So people are interested in art stuff or interested in the mapping side, especially just being interested in like how you teach stuff. Not that we want to spend ages like philosophizing about like pedagogy, but like we still want to like find people that have kind of been creative with the stuff and want to kind of find ways to like really work on like a lot of mappers don't like making like tier 1 rocket jump maps and stuff because there's not really that much to do, but at the same time it is a good way to learn if you do just have a big playground of very easy rocket jump stuff. And so I don't really know what I'm talking about with rocket jump. It does seem like it's genuinely hard to do, but like but if people are really interested in stuff, definitely get in touch with us. Maybe not right now, and maybe better after O10, but I'm gonna nip to the toilet.
Yeah, all good. Don't drown. Like we have a lot of art stuff to figure out more, and cosmetics tie in with that too. It's just when you have, Tom said this before, when you have so many core features that are needed to be implemented first, right? It's just not on the mind, which sucks because it could technically be done in parallel. The problem becomes it needs such a strong leadership that it effectively becomes its own team. That's like, okay, that like you just need to like synchronize with. Oh, this is what? No. Okay, yeah, but I am really looking forward to after we get 0.10.0, we start figuring out cosmetic categories, and then we start also looking at how learn is going to look as well. Oh, sorry, learn might actually be first before cosmetic, but it could kind of be done at the same time. It's just going to be more spec work around, instead of technical systems, more arts, you know, like artistic systems. So yeah, like I'm really looking forward to fleshing it out and just seeing like what, you know, what these things will be. Oh, I see. Okay. So maybe I do want to juggle up there. But anyway, thank you for this question. We'll move on to the next one. Yeah.
The next question is from Theo. What are your thoughts on working on the engine that is no longer being developed? In your experience, what has been good and bad about it?
Oh boy. All right. So I'll start it off. I'm sure Tom has a lot of choice words around this. And actually, Bray, do you want to? Do you have experience with this engine and I believe Unreal? Do you wanna start us off actually with that?
Yeah, it's funny to say because like like I work professionally with Unreal, and it's so much easier to just use Unreal. Like it's actually pretty unbelievable how difficult it is to work with Source. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. It's very old, but it's just a pain in the ass. And I don't think there's any positives, honestly, other than like we get to make like exactly the game that that people want. And yeah, like basically having maps is kind of the main thing, I guess, why we're going with the engine. But I don't know. It's been like thought of like, could you make something like this in another engine? Because it would just be so much easier. But I don't. I like being in Source is just so much better for this game specifically. But definitely don't use Source Engine for anything. Unless you have like a very specific case like momentum, like, and even then, like, don't do it. Like it's pretty bad. I think maybe the only upside is that you can just make changes to the engine and kind of make it yours.
It's quite small.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean you can like do that with Unreal, like most places. What the hell? That was weird.
Also, I'm
most
back.
places
And yeah,
can
sucks.
like. What's that?
I said I'm back. Source fucking sucks. I agree.
Yeah, you can see just shit going underneath the floor. Yeah, that's great.
No, that's to force a hand.
Oh, is it supposed to be? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was like,
Source
what the hell?
I was a little scared
Source
of
was
that.
like quite a good engine for
It's-
its time, but it's
Yeah,
it's not a good
it's
engine.
clearly done, and people giving up on it. But yeah, people make kind of their own version of Unreal a lot of time. So I guess you can do that, but I don't know. It feels like, I guess, a bit more freedom with just Source, because we can just really do anything that we want to it. And we don't have to worry about like getting any new changes from someplace.
But there's
It's never
still,
gonna happen.
it does still kind of like often tempt you into trying to do stuff really well, and to people that really like doing engine dev, like it's very tempting to like spend lots of time on like improving stuff in Source or whatever, whilst like this kind of constant push and pull we have with Strata, whilst in some ways we do want to just make stuff better, but at the same time it's also just not a very good use of our time a lot of the time, because not that much stuff's going to use it, right? So it's
Yeah, I think like we had like this kind of ambition of like it would be so cool if like Chaos or Chaos.
Strata, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
wow.
not
I'm
Strata.
old.
That's how
Strata.
outdated it is.
Strata is sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. That's all good.
It would be good if like it could be like an SDK for people. I think that's what we were thinking, but it's just such a silly thing to think about, I think.
I have like the harshest view on this, but I think that the like
I guess like portals are kind of cool, but like
Yeah.
so I can definitely see it for Portal.
But my feeling is like the people that
I don't
are
know.
still currently wanting to make stuff on Source aren't people that are worth making an SDK for, because if they were better devs, they'd be using other engines. Which is a dick thing to say, but I think is kind of
Well,
true.
no, I think it like people use it because they're really good devs. Like
Yeah.
I mean, like the skill required to work in Source is pretty insane. Like
Right, but why are they
I'm
using
working on Unreal is much easier from like a
Okay, but
programmer's
that
standpoint.
doesn't mean that they're that likely to get like games released, and there's so many games made on.
Oh
Source
yeah,
One,
much less likely. So much harder.
And so I just think
Yeah.
like trying to make an SDK for the people that are the Source 1 holdouts just isn't a very good use of time, because like would it be nice to have, like, if you're gonna do engine dev, why not work on like
Mhm.
Godot or something where
Yeah, I mean,
people,
I think
people that are actually making good games are using that engine. Like,
most of
Or
the
just
use
commit
cases
to
are.
the horror game asset flips and make money off that, because everyone
I
buys
mean, you
those
can
for
do
some
that.
reason.
Okay, yeah. This is what I was gonna say is like a lot of the use case, I guess, is because Hammer's pretty sick. If like you're that kind of person, I'm that kind of person. But I would encourage you, like Godot is really good if you use it with Trench Broom, which Trench Broom has
yeah.
really great support to like
right?
get your shit like directly in Godot. So if you really are that type of person that wants to make like a source, like don't use the source engine, use Godot with Trench Broom.
Yeah.
Because Source isn't Source isn't improving over time, right? Like Strata a little bit maybe, but not much. But like it's a dead engine for the most part. While something like Godot is like more and more people are using Godot, and it seems to be that Godot engine development stuff is like something that seems quite financially sound currently. I think it's gotten better in the last couple of years. Like, and so.
Or
why
if
would
you want to
use
go
this
into the world of gaming, pick Unity or Unreal, because every other dev studio is also doing that. So, like that's, I mean, Godot, I wholeheartedly recommend if you're going to get into game, like an original game that does not need to be on Source. Godot is amazing and should absolutely be getting everyone's support.
Can I?
And also, there's just like source movement in Godot, like
that's
on
another
GitHub,
thing. Is
and
like,
you can just like get source movement in Godot, and you can just make source-looking maps with.
You can get source movement in Minecraft.
Yeah, like.
Can you get it in like GTA 5 too?
Yes, you can. I've seen a video by some guy speedrunning Half-Life games that he was playing like with A-Hop in GTA.
Yeah, that's.
Can I like?
Yeah,
I could rant about it forever.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go for it.
It's like really interesting finding that I recently discovered is that I came from the Payday modding, Payday 2 modding, unfortunately, and Payday uses the Diesel engine, which is pretty much like the source. It's not supported. It's really, I mean, Payday wise, it was really spaghetti coding, like the engine, like entities or something like that. So the source and Diesel are kind of similar in that sense. But the funny thing is that there were really skillful people that just, blew modders' mind with their like findings about the engine, and there was so much cool stuff they made with the Diesel. And I think the source has the same feeling. Like, yes, it is that engine, but again, if you have like that skill or you have that time, you can make probably like great things with source. So yeah.
Well, but that's what the people that really like those engines tell themselves. And some stuff that's been made at Source is cool, but like, I don't think you should pick an engine because you're like obsessed with games that already use it. And it seems like there's a lot of people that love Payday 2, including you, Happy. I think that's fair to say, right? But like, and so they want to do, and they get kind of into like that kind of stuff. Like with Source, there's loads of people that just absolutely love the Source engine, and that's not a reason to pick it as an engine just because like it's this kind of childhood obsession of yours, you know?
Yeah, I know. But I mean, it's still
so
cool
close.
to break like engine's limits or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A lot of people do it with the Stalker game engine too. X-Ray, I think it's called.
Yeah.
I've seen that too.
I guess one way to put it, is that like I think there's like it's become easier to make your own game and to distribute your own game in the last like decade, and so a lot of people that would previously been kind of modders have become actual kind of solo or indie game devs, And with a lot of Source people, it's like a lot of Source is still just like modding. It's this kind of thing like on top of existing stuff. And I get why some people want to do that. People want to make Portal mods and stuff like that. But it is still a kind of a bit of a different thing than like, I don't know. I feel like if you're into modding, like you should be you kind of want the kind of engine jank and you're kind of used to that and it's something you kind of live with and you're constrained by, whilst with trying to do like new work on Source, you're kind of trying to do a different kind of thing. You're trying to make like a kind of, I don't know, I guess I'm saying like I can kind of appreciate why people want to use Source because they kind of like the jank of it and they're doing these kind of casual modding projects.
Yeah.
But I also think, I don't think that's a reason to think that you should go out of your way to make those people an SDK, because to some extent they might be happy just having the current jank stuff, but also like that's not kind of the audience you should be trying to make a game engine for. Like, I don't know. Even if Source wasn't locked behind like endless like steel doors, laser maze, like you say, Masok, like I think more people would work on Source then, but I still wouldn't say it's a particularly good choice as like an engine to work on, right? It would be great if we could have Strata be open source and those improvements, we could have more people making those improvements, more stuff getting shared, and you know, more people using it. That would be like awesome to have. It's just, even then, I'm not sure that would make Source like. There's a lot of Source that is like really sound. Maybe Strata would end up being like a genuinely quite good engine to use for certain modern stuff. Maybe.
I mean, at this point, with all the shit going on,
there really is a lot of
it's pretty modernized.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I shouldn't be too cynical, I guess.
Yeah, but it's still just the workflow for like.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like we've done.
Like I mean, it's nice, I guess, for momentum because like, I don't know. It doesn't really. It kind of feels weird to say, but it doesn't really feel like developing a game. It feels like developing like a platform.
Yeah.
So there's not like designers that need to change the game.
Yeah.
Like from like a scripting layer or something like that. Like that's not really possible in Source. And like the art is just so like arcane, like all the tooling for art, and yeah.
So like, I'm not a Source person. I'm not an NDA developer that has access to Strata Source. But like, as I know it, Source is pretty much like just some like a sort-ish wrapper around DirectX with physics, with the rendering and stuff. So, like, genuinely, it's not that much of an engine like we speak today, because when we speak of, for example, about Unreal or Unity, we imagine like a platform which has a toolkit for development, where you can do all this stuff, including textures, including scripting, and all of that. While working with Source, you can literally you like modify all the stuff that's going on in it. You don't like have any sort of base around it.
Well, Source SDK is that also, like.
Yeah, but then working on Strata Source, I believe it's not like working with Source SDK.
I don't think it's that different in the modern stuff. It's like the tooling's more integrated into the engine in most modern engines, sure. But,
yeah.
But yeah,
that's also good.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Is Source's tooling is just really outdated and really shit. And like a lot of the work we do on Strata is really impressive, but like, you know, our Hammer stuff has improved, but it takes so long for people to make Hammer. Like, it's just that doing engine tooling is so difficult. I think it's like the main issue with like Source and the future of Source stuff is like, yes, we can get Hammer kind of better, but like getting it like really good is like so much work, and doing that plus all the other engine stuff, like the scope is simply too large. And so like, we're just never gonna have like amazing tooling.
Yeah, there's just a lot of tools.
Right, and then you end up spending
that's not really like
model viewer or whatever, and
yeah, they're not like cohesive in like an editor kind of format. It's just kind of all over the place.
Talk of doing that, and I think that talk is incredibly silly. Like, yeah, okay, you could build tooling into the engine and make it more like modern stuff, but like, who are you doing that for at that point? I don't know. Right.
Well, that's just like what's the difference is.
Let's go. Figured out the strat. Sorry. All right,
nice.
continue.
It's like what the difference is between like working on newer engines. It's like where you have it. It's like again, it's better for like newbies, for like people who don't really know what they can do in engines and stuff. While working with source and stuff, you really have to know everything that goes on there, like in like coding and stuff.
And it's much slower.
I guess.
Even if you know everything, it's slow. Yeah.
Yeah, the workflows are just crap.
Well, it
Yeah.
works.
I don't know. I think Source is. I'm really bored of Source, personally. I just want to not work with Source again.
Yeah, I just never want to see it again. After working with it, well,
I like how all Strata people like just collectively hate Strata Source, but then
Well, no, I think it's more that I think.
Yeah, hate Source, but then don't hate Strata because yeah.
Well, Strata's okay. There's other people that are much more pro Strata and Source improvement stuff than me and Bray, I think. And like, I think there's other people working on Strata that just enjoy doing the work and like making the improvements. But
I would not recommend that. That's all.
yeah,
I think it makes sense for momentum and it makes sense for P2C because, I mean, portals like, I don't know the state of like having actual portals in other games or game engines.
Isn't Splitgate 2 coming out soon?
Yeah, like I
No.
imagine it exists somewhere, but like it's not like a defining feature like it is in Portal. So I see that as like a huge reason to stick with Source. But,
like and using as an engine, you couldn't say that Portal 2 CE is a different Portal 2. It's just like a different Portal 2. You couldn't say that Portal 2 Revolution is like different Portal 2 because Portal Revolution because it's not built on Source and just a completely different game rebuilding the same end like stuff that was already done in engine in the Source. Which is kind of why we use Source, I guess, because like we want movement.
Masok just says something that is like so alien to me. It's almost as if it's like another like language.
Does it make me feel like I can
What
actually
do you
code?
mean? You love blueprints, Tom.
I like Unreal because of blueprints.
I think
they make me feel like
90% of the things I hate about Unreal are because of blueprints.
Oh, that's evil. I just feel like I don't really know you, Masok, but you seem like not like.
I mean, it's great for designers.
You could learn to code. Like anyone can learn Python. Like
you could just like design yourself in a hole very easily.
Yeah, or then you make a system that then Bray has to spend hours and hours converting to C++ anyway.
Well, then Unreal Engine is usually not only used for like games. It could also be used for renderings, for like design
TV
stuff.
shows,
yeah, that thing. So like for
Is
that
other
people,
stuff actually
for
used
those people,
besides the Mandalorian, is other stuff using the whole Unreal?
No, they do.
Oh
they
yeah,
do.
all the time. Yeah, all the time. I even just watched a YouTube video that had like a bunch of renders in Unreal.
It seems like a bit of a shame.
Very
because,
narrative
like,
heavy.
Production design
It's
in film is a really cool thing. Let's make it Unreal.
Yeah, there's like lots of jobs for Unreal just in film.
Why pay people to make like cool sets for your film when you can pay them?
Oh, they also use it. Okay.
They use it as a background.
But they also use it to train AI for like vehicles and shit.
Damn.
Oh.
Yeah.
So if you're scared by that, you should be. I did get an email about Tesla.
Love Tesla.
Looking for like Unreal devs. it's pretty wild. It's
a great
wild.
company to work for.
Should be one.
I'll give my input. Now that you guys are
here.
Yeah, so I mean, coming from the rose-tinted SDK era of Momentum, loving Source and wanting more of Source to make it better, into seeing what Source's battles look like and seeing, other engines, I think specifically what Bray was saying, momentum specifically benefits from being on Source, not just because of maps, but because of just engine feel. Unreal, Unity, Godot, like they have different loops, and that can inherently change how the game just feels. You can port the movement, and maybe it'll feel close enough. But that was my main concern with doing that, because like otherwise, yeah, we would have been on Unity and just porting maps over to it or something. But
even
I
PS2
think,
has that issue, right?
Like
CS2 still feels a bit different. CS2 still feels a bit different from like Source 1, right?
Yeah,
Source
yeah,
3
I think they
has,
changed how like input and stuff works. I'm sure a lot of internal, like they changed the entire internals of the engine. But yeah, it was really just game feel that I wanted, and just the added benefit of we have thousands of maps just ready, like that can just load. And then when we got Strata, we got all the CS:GO maps as well. Like it started to expand there. So there was like a lot of just like great like benefit from just staying on Source and making Source better. There's also a part of me that really loves improving shit old code and making it either design better or like just run better. It's really fun. Like improving Source's like load times or something like that is so like interesting to me. Right, like we added DX11, and I'm really excited to do things like generate fucking cube maps like in real time. Like when you load the maps, of our maps can be fucking tiny, and then like having just the nitty gritty. But I'm more of like an engine dev, I'd say. I can help with design and spec of gameplay, but I'm more of like a low level kind of guy. When it comes to these kind of things. I also do a lot of like DevOps stuff, right, for Momentum. I'm really liking that. But the like the main thing about Source is just that it's so familiar and it's what people are like really used to, right? Like we also have the benefit of people are used to Hammer, and if they use a better Hammer now that we have Strata, like they would make even better maps because it's a workflow that they're used to. Oh my god, I fucking strafed it. Let's go. I should just talk while I play this map. So like there were so many benefits around supporting these communities in an official capacity. I think we even have a question maybe after this that's talking about like other like Source 2, like how S&box or something, and how it would compare. But like the main thing is just like, if you want the exact same thing but better, Source was always going to be the answer for Momentum. But is it something worth working on, or like doing all this work for just one game, or just P2C or something? I think so, because we are building a platform. I don't like that it doesn't have support, but in the same vein, it's led me to learn a lot about how you can learn things through reading code and just figuring out how things work through like debug stepping and stuff like that. I actually kind of like that, as opposed to booting up, hey, it's your boy Unity Dog here with the next tutorial that you follow, and you're kind of like brainlessly like following or copy pasting this dude's script or something. So I kind of like that aspect, but at the same time, you don't have any support. So if there's like, hey, why the fuck is networking or what, why is the engine like laid out like this? You have a couple of VDC wiki pages, but like those are kind of like limited in the sense of like what they wanted. It's more of like a public presentation. It doesn't really give code examples around like sources networking or something like that. So it's like, it's a lot of just kind of figuring out through just reading code. And a lot of code is pretty bad because it's old, and it was written when C++ wasn't even a thing in some cases. So it's a lot of cleanup work and like optimization, which like I've been really liking that kind of stuff.
But that slippery slope of like, it's so easy to then spend loads of time just working on engine stuff, and like
but it is enjoyable.
It is enjoyable. No, I get that. It's just it's still easy to spend
like
too much time on it, and I think we've gotten better at it. But in the past, we have spent too much time on it. And like a lot of the stuff we've achieved with that is like genuinely great. Like DX11 increased like map size, those kind of things are like actually. I mean, DX11 you could actually argue doesn't really affect the average user very much at all. But okay, like it's that kind of thing of like oh my god, it's just. game development isn't engine development, I guess, and that's, I think, one of the things that with us with Momentum, whilst a lot of us might have programmer backgrounds, we don't necessarily have game development background. And so some of our decision making in the past, I would say, has been, you shouldn't let the fact that you're very confident with engine stuff feel like that should like overly inform like certain game design decisions. Like, I think in some cases we have been a bit like too ready to like, I think programmers are sometimes a bit overconfident when it comes to certain things. And I worry that, like, by spending lots of time doing engine work, you can feel like there's some... I don't know what a good example is, actually. I don't know. Like, it's kind of... I think some systems that we approach and some of our, like, UI, UX design sometimes, like, is a bit too... Like, it's a bit too kind of programmer-brained. Like, we spend a lot of time, some of our systems design even, like, we spend sometimes too much time thinking about edge cases, for instance, and we end up making systems that end up a bit too complicated and a bit kind of too perfectly engineered, because it's this kind of engineer, kind of programmer, engine dev kind of mentality sometimes. And that's not really me, like, criticizing anyone in particular. Like, and I think we all kind of, I don't think we do it that much, but I still think there's a kind of, it's sometimes you can like go off on kind of the wrong track if you spend a lot of time like just thinking in terms of like engine changes for like some game feature. Like, it's quite easy to spend a lot of time thinking like about how you like hyper optimize some system, when it's like actually most users don't give a shit about like how something works, or like some kind of like
they'll notice load times. They'll notice, you know, like,
yeah,
it's...
to an extent, yeah. But like sometimes, like, I don't know, there's a well, I know I don't want to give like spicy takes. I do.
I enjoy working on source in that aspect. Like, that is the angle that gives me joy in working on this game. And like, obviously there's the aspect of we're making a fucking awesome game. Like, I love that in and of itself. It doesn't really matter what engine, but the question is specifically about the engine. So that's why I was answering about that, not like game design or something. So yeah, like engine, I would not recommend source. If you have an idea for like a source related thing, use the SDK and get as far as you can. That's what Momentum did, and it worked out well for us.
But Valve will don't answer emails. They won't license you.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, license was like inevitable, I'd say. Like, it was either license and like we get a game that's like more of what we want, or it would have been just an SDK like game and like maybe not as good and just rough around the edges as we do things like hook into the engine and stuff like that. We had a lot of jank. But like, it's just nice having access to the engine so that we don't have to do the jank anymore. Like, we can just make things better.
Oh, sure.
So like, not even just like the engine improvement work, but just like having the ability to be like, oh, we can change the tick rate, right? Like, that alone was like a huge thing we hooked into engine. Oh, Walter, you come and say hi? This is my cat, Walter. He's saying hi.
Oh.
It's not visible. There he is.
He's gonna hang out. He's like, I want to play some conk. But yeah, I would say just like, I'm lucky that Momentum had the developers has the developers it has now, and like, we have at least some acknowledgement from Valve to where we had the engine access granted to us to give us like being able to make a perfect game all the way down to its core of its engine, right? Because we can fix anything that's jank or anything that's crashing, or any, like, we can improve Hammer, we can do all these things for our community, which, yeah, is going to be niche and probably, you know, will stay niche. I don't know if the game will explode, who knows, but now you're gonna hear him meowing, and he probably wants some food. But yeah, it's just, I have enjoyed the aspect of like coming from the SDK and like knowing what Momentum needs to be and what we need to improve in the engine, being able to do so now. Like, that's such a huge thing. and that's what's really been giving me enjoyment out of it. It's just like, and yeah, I don't think making an SDK is worthwhile. Like it is like a pipe dream, but I don't think Valve would ever allow it. So that's what kind of killed that. It's very clear that like Source One's just no longer kind of like their priority. I mean, it's hard to say even if it ever was, because it's, you know, how Valve operates with like no bosses and stuff, right? So like, yeah, I'm lucky. I feel very proud that we're gonna deliver an excellent game on Source One, show Valve that they invested in the right people for it, right? And like in terms of just giving us it, right? They didn't give us anything other than access. But yeah, like I'm excited to get the game out. I am also excited to look into Godot and other engines after Momentum's like kind of done with development. I don't think I would use Source for anything in the future unless it has to be on Source.
But this is just this thing that I do think sometimes with Momentum, if we were more cognizant of the fact that besides other stuff on Strata, like any engine change we make is only affecting this game and nothing else, I think that would sometimes be good to be like more aware of. Just because some stuff we do like could just be hackier, I think at times. Like, and sometimes hacks are kind of good, and they get your game out faster. And like,
yeah,
we kind of. I
and
think
if we alone got engine access too, and it wasn't like Strata bound or anything like that, yeah, absolutely, we'd be doing so many hacks and like. So like I don't think it'd be as clean.
Well, then there's okay. Now I'm being kind of devil's advocate, but then there is an argument. Well, then maybe Strata's not good for us because it makes us spend more time doing stuff cleanly when, like, because we have this notion of this kind of shared project. Even though, like, it's only really 3 games that are on Strata. There's some kind of shared code and other stuff.
Not really. I'd argue not really, because we don't do a lot of engine refactoring and stuff. It's like maybe DX11, right, and Hammer.
We spend time on code review. And we do spend,
I guess, but it's not. I mean, there's other maintainers and stuff, so it's not always going to be Momentum. It's only right. We recently changed that to be if there's changes to code that are.
Well, no, that's what I mean. We've gotten a lot better at it, but in the past, you know, we spent too fucking long on code review, and like did a lot of stuff that's kind of we too much time doing stuff the right way. And what I'm saying is, I think by having whole engine access and approaching stuff a bit more from the point of view of an engine developer and more of someone who is, you know, a sort of game programmer, I don't know what you want to call it, like sometimes there's a bit too much emphasis, I think, put on doing stuff the right way and like doing it in this kind of principled way, when in fact doing it the shitty faster way is sometimes going to be sufficient
for one game, you know, for one project that would benefit.
That being said, there's lots of times when we have kind of done the Momentum, we have half-assed stuff, and we end up having to just rewrite it, like the zoning system and the timer, and so, you know, we have to rewrite that. So I'm not saying that we should be, like, doing stuff in badly, and we should put an effort into doing certain stuff well. It's more so when it comes to, like...
I would argue in those cases it wasn't half-assed, it was just done to spec, which was 1 game mode. Or 2 game modes, or whatever, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I
don't want to say half-assed. I guess so. I do think something like the back end, like our web back end, and the first time, like that was not a good way to approach it, because that thing was just begging to be like unmaintainable from the start.
Yeah.
But anyway, we spent ages on this. I don't know. It's a fucking engine.
Should we move on to the next question then?
Yeah.
Theo asked, do you think S&box will be competing in the small source movement space?
No, realistically no. Because it has Gary at the lead, and he's gonna just rewrite the engine every week. No, realistically I don't see. Because again, if Momentum was such a popular idea for a game, it would have been made already, right? Like that's what's surprising about it, is that, and like not only that, but there are other projects that aim to do kind of what Momentum is, but more aligned towards like, oh, we're gonna have more original maps, like, right? Like we want people to use Blender to make maps and stuff, and it's like you're asking a lot out of a community you're trying to adopt.
You just won't get a community.
You're not gonna get one. And so like that's what I think like S&box and like these other engine Momentums are gonna face, is like, yeah, like you need to have a base, right, and cater to that base and then improve upon it. Like if you just go right to oh hey, it's a completely different. I hear you, Walter. If it's a completely different thing, then like, yeah, you're kind of fighting uphill for no reason. Whereas we're kind of starting at like some level, and we can keep going uphill if we want to try to improve, right? If we want to add things like a blender like plugin or whatever, right? Like to make things easier. Oh, am I gonna make it? No, dang it. So yeah, so he's really happy. Yeah, I think like momentum is geared toward excellence, specifically on Strata, right? On source, and like it just like it's nice to feel validated when this game will release. That was the right choice to make. It would suck if something like Momentum came out on Godot, did everything Momentum was going to do, and then proves to be even more successful on another engine, right? That would be the only case where I would be like, oh wow, okay, I was wrong, right? Like it was wrong to do that, which it would also kind of suck if that happened, right? Like if, if we just, yeah, because like at that point it's like, okay, now you're just comparing, yeah, a bunch of stuff happening down here in California. Anyway, yeah.
The thing that would suck, like, what would suck would be if a game manages to make something that's commercially, like, plausible, and therefore manage to, like, anything wanting to do something like Momentum has quite a lot of catching up to do, in terms of doing stuff like our systems quite well. Though a lot of our systems are, I think, being on source in some ways makes it more complicated to do.
Yeah, not really. You still have to design a replay system, right? Like, you know, like, there's still...
I guess, but like...
An engine doesn't...
Or you just buy one from...
from the Unity store or some shit. But even then, it's like, does that account for, you know, like, the features that you want out of it? And, you know...
Yeah, okay, but it's still a lot of... Like, a lot of the kind of current, like... Look, well, I guess what I would say is if there was... The thing that doesn't concern me is another project coming along that's using a different engine and doing stuff differently. The thing that concerns me is a project that manages to make a financial model that actually works for it. What?
What was that? Oh, okay. Happy turned into a robot.
Like, if a project comes along and manages to be paying, I don't know, 10 programmers or... You know, just some like small team that's still getting paid full time. Maybe is on another engine and can work faster because it's clearly possible that Momentum could have been worked on faster. I think in some ways we could have structured stuff better and been moving faster. But like now, I think we're in a pretty good spot. But definitely the past and stuff, like I think we could have done it better. Like the
hindsight's 2020.
Oh, for sure. But like that's what I'm saying. It's the thing that kind of concerns me. These kind of hypothetical things of like, oh, what if everyone did like what we're doing, but like did it better with the hindsight that we have, and we only have it because we've been doing the work, right? And realize behind. But
I mean,
you know, if
that it's not going to happen, yeah.
Yeah, but also like they'd need to make money, and for that some kind of thing to work, and like loads of, and then so I don't know how something like that would work. Like, for one, I don't think there's ever going to be a surf game that's super popular that is on a different engine, because I think trying to get the player base over is always going to be a nightmare and won't work very well.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nightmare enough for Momentum. A lot of people won't want to come out of Momentum from other stuff, so we'll see. But then, also because Valve aren't going to license other projects anyway, like, we're not really going to get competed.
I mean, you could just put it in perspective of, like, Neon White doesn't have replays.
Yeah.
Right. But that is a thing. Like, you could imagine. I think you could imagine,
like a defining feature for a speedrunning game, and yeah, I think that Momentum is so far ahead that no one's gonna come. Yeah.
Right, but it might be that if something didn't do as much but still released sooner and managed to bring in some player base, you know, hypothetically, you could have.
Yeah, like I could see something like, bringing player base.
Because
a
lot of the stuff we're doing on Momentum, like, you know, there's loads of things where
people like making a Momentum. I heard that there was like a group of people that were trying to make it, but like get it out sooner or some shit.
Oh, okay. What, it's like 087 to start for?
No, like just their own thing.
Oh. But like
I
that's the
think.
thing. Like in theory,
I
like
think it was
some of
Surf
the
specific. I don't know. It's probably
Yeah.
all just like shit that never happened. But
well, like I think it's very easy to start a project like that and then realize that there's way more work than
I
we
mean, I think
Way
it's
more work.
worth saying that like Gawk and people like Gawk, Tom, SL, like Slidey, and like Rio, and all the people that we've had are like I work in this street. Like all of you are incredible, like comparatively. So
Right, I barely know how
like
to
I
read.
think like you're all like senior level, like at least senior level programmers, like.
I hope my work agrees with that next year.
And I feel like
it's still junior
like
level.
someone like SL is like he's a principal level like programmer. Like
SL,
it's actually pretty
Yeah.
wild. Like yeah,
So
I mean everyone's just
like
very
something
talented.
hilarious.
So like I don't think there's any juniors working on this game. Which is crazy.
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm a junior in C++, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Edge book
yeah,
there.
maybe.
I don't know what a move semantics is.
That would be a very
Well, no one.
funny,
Yeah, it's a lot of people that don't.
Yeah.
Wintery brought up an interesting thing of like I just don't think Valve, other than granting us access, care about us.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't
think
think
Robin Walker might play Conk. You know, there might be some devs at Valve that'll like care about the game when it actually releases. I think realistically they don't like. I don't think the CS2 team. Yeah. Are you gonna go on the wheel? Are you gonna show everybody the wheel?
I just want to point out we have like 6 more questions left.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah. Well, let's move
so maybe
on.
we shall we speed up a little bit?
Yeah, we can move on to the last couple. Oh, he's on the wheel. Let's go.
Can the source? Sorry, is Happy's microphone working again? Can we just? There's one question I do want to talk about a little bit. That's coming up that I'd like to say something about. But
Oh yeah, this is engine related. I moved this here. Yeah.
The other engine related thing, the moving stuff from. Sorry, do you want to read it or?
Yeah. No, you can read it. Go for it. Yeah.
Okay. You said that in a really like patronizing way.
No, sorry. I was reading chat.
You said it
I
like
was so distracted.
Sorry, the tone was funny. So against Source 1 based engine, momentum runs on. Oh, sorry. Be modified to support movement modes from Source 2 games, e.g. Deadlock. Well, we don't have the movement code for it, so
we don't need the movement code, but it would be just a matter of like, do we want these aspects at all? Deadlock doesn't really. I don't know. Like it has the BioShock Infinite like rail thing. I don't know how that's really speedrun related, but usually, right, momentum movement or mechanics or things are related to speedrunning in some capacity. Yeah. So if it's like something that's just kind of like on rails or something like that, right, it's not really that fun, right? Like it doesn't have that much depth. But things like a grappling hook, you want to jump up? You want to jump up? You want to keep meowing into the microphone?
Get Walter a grappling hook.
Yeah, honestly, well, he doesn't need one. He can do it. He can jump it. But yeah, it's like things like Deadlock. It's not really a question of engine, because the same thing too with parkour. We want to implement like Titanfall 2-esque parkour. Oh, speaking of parkour, hello. He's hiding my face behind his tail. Yeah, so like we would want. We would want to evaluate like how movement feels and what it can be like to speedrun to add it. And it doesn't really matter about engine. It's just more of a like question of worth of like, oh my god, was this how I was supposed to do this fucking jump the whole time? Are you kidding me? Oh my god, I almost made it too. Okay, sorry. I'm not mad at you, bub. Sorry, I'm just really excited.
The trick to conk is just don't pre-throw ever if the jump lets you, because pre-throwing is bad.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
But like, I'm not convinced that Deadlock will spawn movement modes. I don't know, maybe. Depends how like.
Yeah.
It's case by case.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's case by case.
Yeah, we shouldn't assume just because it's a Valve thing that like it's going to be something with good movement that we're going to use. So.
Does it have a level editor? I assume it's probably a bit too early to have tools like that out.
Well, they have the one from like
I don't think it would ever, right?
But yeah, I don't think it has a community aspect, right? Because it's just a MOBA of like two maps, right? Classic, like 2 maps and that everyone plays.
Maybe be the first MOBA with like.
This isn't abuse. He likes it. He likes butt taps. He likes it. I promise. He like sometimes just like shoves his ass in my face just for it, which I thought you were doing right now. What are you up to? You want to say some choice words about Deadlock? No. Okay. He's chilling.
I still don't really know what that game is. I played it for 5
Fort
minutes.
Nuke and everything.
Like, okay.
Anyway, moving on.
Should we move on? We've got so much stuff.
Thank you for that question. We'll move on.
Yeah. Helmerz says, "Are mappers allowed to include ads in their maps, e.g. maps that have banners for gambling websites?" We discussed this a little bit internally, and I think we agreed on no.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate that it should be no. It's a little hard to kind of proclaim stuff about the gambling websites, given that what they're doing seems to be a kind of exacerbated, worse version of what a lot of games companies themselves do, where like a lot of the loot box models and things themselves are just incredibly predatory. And so trying to say that, oh, these, hundreds of CSGO gambling sites are so bad or whatever, when a lot of them are probably, they're going to be smaller companies, and by all means, what they're doing is absolute, they're scum. But so just to be clear on that, like as someone that gambling is like it works because it's predatory, right? And it's an inherently predatory thing. Like gambling lobbyists or whatever want to claim that there's these perfect gamblers who just spend what they can or whatever, and it's all fun and games for them. But like everybody knows in the industry and outside that it's not that, and that it is something that is preying on vulnerable people, and it is incredibly addictive. And I'm someone who has spent a lot of my adult life struggling with addiction, and as I'm a recovering addict, and group sessions and stuff I've done with people with gambling addiction, and a lot of the kind of mental sort of psychological mechanisms that you have to kind of fight against when recovering from addiction are so like appallingly hard to work with, and just exhausting and so unpleasant. And gambling advertising, kind of by its nature, is like trying to get out of the kind of mental kind of headspace you get into when you are addicted to something. And it's it's a thing that can kind of suck all the joy out of your life and make it very hard to have kind of any kind of, it's incredibly hard to work through, and it takes big support networks of people and all this, like it takes a lot. And it's gambling advertising is a thing that tries to take those vulnerable people, those people that are doing this incredibly difficult thing, and then prey on those people and pull them back into those cycles that destroy lives, drive people to suicide, that are... I expect most people here probably agree with me on this, but I do think it is worth kind of reiterating, because it is... Gambling is really common in gaming in lots of different forms, that the people that are doing that are trying to exploit those psychological mechanisms and to make people, ruin their lives over this stuff and force people into these kind of psychological patterns. That is sick. I mean, it is something that is
like disgusting, and not cool.
Yeah, no, that is
bad.
No, but it really is. Like, it is something that is like. Yeah. I don't know if some of those people kind of have a way to kind of help themselves sleep at night, and they just feel that, oh, these people are just idiots for getting into it or whatever. If that's you and you are that, stop fucking kidding yourself. You shouldn't be able to sleep at night. Be real. But like, or they just accept that like they're just a shit person and they're going to do it. But it is just something that is so obviously immoral, and especially with gaming and kind of young people who are often like kind of learning about gambling or in loot crates and stuff in the time where they don't really have much kind of financial independence themselves, who are then often going into positions of financial independence while still playing those games, and at that whole time having these companies advertise to them that they should be wasting their money on that shit. And it's just insanely irresponsible. I mean, I strongly think gambling should not be legal. And gambling advertising, should not be legal. Gambling itself being illegal is more complicated, but advertising is just so obviously fucked. And so, yeah, it kind of goes without saying that we're not going to allow it in Memento stuff. Whilst I'm being assertive about the people that do run these platforms, including games industries. I mean, Bobby Kotick's a much more evil man than whoever's running CSGO Bet or whatever it's called, those things. But like, I'm not saying that about people that like if you're a mapper and some company is approaching you saying, "Can we put our dumb ads in your map?" Like, I pretty appreciate why mappers might be like, "Wow, this is a big lump of cash. Like, this is and want that." Like, we're not saying that those people are evil. Even if you have taken that thing, you're evil or whatever. But no, you're not having their momentum. Like, we have no incentive to allow that. If you can't get rid of it, the map can't get added. Like there's maybe some other ads for stuff like some of Hardex's maps and stuff where like this the Fnatic ads or whatever and stuff, Summer, that kind of thing. Those seem fine. I mean,
yeah,
like those aren't a big deal. The thing is the gambling advertising is kind of a thing in itself. It's just such a fucking horrible system, and it's something where I think in gaming, like, it's kind of put up with to an extent, partly because it's just very lucrative and a lot of people in this industry are making money out of it in some way, but it's something that we should really roundly reject as being an appalling practice that has no place in a kind of community-run game like this. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's no money involved, so there's no reason to have
so
it.
get the fuck out of here.
So you got the nice bit of that.
Yeah, and I did want to clarify that too, because it's we will have community guidelines just in general in game, in Discord, right? Like, we want to have a great community. So, right, advertising, like, just like how we would ban somebody joining our Discord to advertise a skin gambling website for like no reason other than to just be annoying, right? We would not want that in our maps that we have. And while Lumper gives us the ability to remove maybe dated reference if it's a newer map or like a collaboration or something, there's still wiggle room there for, like, you can talk about, like, you can have, like, we don't want to restrict artistic, like, ability or like commentary, right? Like, if somebody wants to, again, not advertise gambling as in like go to this website for skins, but have a skin that makes, or a map that makes fun of it or something, right? Like, we want to respect that. Like,
okay, yeah.
That might not be
that
the
feels
best
so specific
example.
that I think that's a kind of case by case thing that we just deal with at the time.
It would be, yeah.
I don't think we need a policy on that.
Right. Yeah, but you can look at maps like Surf Fordham and stuff that have companies that have sponsored the creation of it, and would have their brand and logo everywhere, but it doesn't necessarily equate to like, hey, this is a harmful activity that we don't want to.
Right.
So, like,
right,
there
right.
are things like, like gambling, things that would be like kind of teetering the line of like, well, it's not necessarily illegal in my country or something, like, because that's what they do. We're a worldwide platform, and we're going to have to be able to, as best as we can, like not censor, but like remove aspects that would be harmful. So, like, we're going to try to approach that in a good way. I like things that are usually maps that are created to be overtly political or something, would probably not get added just out of respect of just like, I understand the commentary if you want to make a Palestine versus Gaza or versus something with Gaza or something in it. It's just that, like, we wouldn't want to force views on people that are playing your map, and like, because that could, like, us adding that map basically is almost akin to us like approving of that message or something like that, right?
So, I guess so. I think in this case we are talking about kind of hypothetical things that aren't particularly sort of painful to talk about, or like with stuff like, as far as I know, there aren't any like jump. I think there may be some climb maps actually that have some CS:GO gambling site ads in it. I think for the stuff I've seen is like kind of random kind of workshop CS:GO stuff. It's kind of like warm-up areas and things. There's not so much like movement stuff. So even then, I think we're kind of being a bit. We don't necessarily need to be thinking about this stuff all that much. And given that our game isn't part of CS:GO, right, it doesn't have skins and stuff, like, it's probably less of a thing.
Yeah, that's the funny. I was talking with Gordy about this too. It's like, who cares? Because it's like, you're playing momentum. Like, who cares if you go to a
if you sign some contract to like have your map in CS:GO or whatever, have some advertisers, some companies paid you, like, shouldn't be that big a deal for you if like it gets removed in this other game.
In this game that doesn't have skin gambling or anything. Yeah,
they're not paying you. They're going to pay you like a flat sum to do that, I presume. They're not paying you like royalties on like everyone that plays that map. You have to get rid of the ad, right?
Yeah.
But I do think like it is definitely. I do think just because the gambling sites in
Who's the
particular, they are a really big part of like the kind of CS like scene, and we're kind of related to that. Like, I do think it is good for us to emphasize that we don't want absolutely no involved with that, and like those companies should not have any place in those communities. They're appalling. And that being said, like I think you can just put just as much blame on Valve for them refusing to check on that, to deal with it, and I think they actually have more response. Like, of course, companies are gonna like do this if like they're given the opportunity to. Like those kind of shitty business practices, there will be people that do that, and Valve just let it happen. The People Make Games video on YouTube about this that I really recommend. It has a lot of interviews and stuff with people who were really affected by.
And I think you answered Lodi, but yeah, the maps that are sponsored by ESL and stuff, completely fine. That's okay.
Yeah,
if it's
I
like a
think
team or like that's fine. It's really going to be just when it becomes more sensitive, like gambling or political.
Oh yeah, and
like
that's totally fine. Like people putting social media stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, Nick. I'm just
put all your donation stuff.
Yeah, donation.
I actually would
we want to
encourage you to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and we want to. We
not
even
just
want to
support,
have
but
that.
encourage.
We have it on the social thing on our website. You can like link a PayPal or Ko-fi or whatever as well if you want, and you can see that profile. Yeah, we're all talking over each other. I'm the worst at it, but sorry.
We just all have the same things to say.
Yeah, but like we're really not trying to be like super strict with any of the stuff. The main things we do care about is these companies that. Well, the main thing I care about at least is the gambling companies that are like actual very real parts of like the CS2 community, and there are CS:GO, CS maps, whatever that have ads for those sites in, and those are just the things that we should, I think.
I'm falling too quickly. How do I not?
We're not
fall
going to
so
do
quickly?
like silly. I guess like.
Prime your grenade earlier.
The third one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I see. All right. Thank you. All right. Sorry. But yeah, that should answer that. I guess we can get to the remaining questions here.
Oh my god, we still got a bunch. Okay. Oh no, we got 2. Okay,
we shouldn't have too many more.
Ayaro. Oh wait, no. Oh right, okay. Pohuist. What modes are planned at the time of 1.0 release?
So close.
Mostly the stuff we've got now. So I'm just going through and list these.
Yeah,
they are currently planned. And I'm going to go kind of by category because we have these subcategories now. So there's Surf, then there's B-Hop, and B-Hop will include 1.6 movement B-Hop. That's already basically in on 010. Climb. The plan for Climb currently is to have 3 Climb variants. One called MomKZ, which is mostly SKZ based, but might have some stuff for trying to limit the amount of like hyper strafing you have to do. Though I don't know the details of that. Don't ask. None of us are like Climb people in the Q&A right now. Then there's 1.6 Climb and KZT as well, another like CS:GO based one. Anyway, so those are 3 Climb sub-variants. Then there's Rocket Jump, Sticky Jump, A-Hop, Conk. Those all just have 1 variant. Defrag, which has 3. Defrag has CPM, Beaky 3, which is less strafe control. And then Vintage, VTG, which is much more akin to Source, so you get more like strafing control and you gain speed by Source style strafing. And am I missing one? I think that's everything, right? So it's Surf, B-Hop, Climb, Rocket Jump, Sticky Jump, A-Hop, Conk, Defrag. It's the plan, and then there's sub-modes of B-Hop, Climb, and Defrag.
Yep.
So those are the ones currently planned, and we have basically all of those besides MomKZ and KZT. And those will be ideally in 010 that we might not have KZT or maybe not MomKZ even finished by 010 release. We currently have 1.6 working in Climb. But yeah, that we get a lot of people asking us about like thinking that because we're adding new modes and stuff, that's what we're spending all of our time on. And whilst we've said this a lot of times before, emphatically, no, that's not what we're spending our time on. It really isn't hard to add new game modes. One of the cool things about Momentum is adding game mode movement and stuff. Whilst you've got to do it right, is relatively little code, right? The stuff that's really hard is like doing like back-end game integrations and timers and anti-cheat and like all this kind of fancy stuff. That's the stuff that takes us a long time, not adding random new game modes. I get that like it's the big shiny thing that you see people are playing and it's kind of what you interact with directly, but as actual developers, that's not the thing we're spending most of our time on. So.
Yeah, you nailed it. I don't have any more comments. Yeah, we can move on from that.
Cool. Ayaro asks, will everyone be allowed to submit a map? Are there any criteria/requirements for doing so? Is there a limit to how many can be submitted? Can the workshop be used at all?
All right.
Answer these, but I think you can do them, Nick.
Yeah. So
your
everyone will be able to submit a map. You just be able to, not every single Steam account. You have to be verified on Steam, so it's just
you need that to
money.
play the game on Steam.
Yeah.
Right? To play Momentum, right? You need to spend. So.
Yeah. And so you will be able to submit a map. It goes into private testing and kind of like info checking at first. So not really like publicly, like everyone can just upload a BSP and any image and have that show up to everyone. It's going to go through admins first. But the criteria and requirements, we are working on those. We want to have basically a checklist that our reviewing team is going to go through, and have that be public so that and you could go through it yourself too. And that'll be on our docs. We'll have hopefully videos and stuff to help you with submission. So yeah, that'll all be there. Then I almost made it. Is there a limit to how many can be submitted? At once, 1. So you will only be able to submit a map at once, just so that we're, you're not spamming.
That's not.
Really?
That's not true currently. You're only allowed to submit once until you get it approved. Afterwards, there's no limit.
Oh, okay.
Once you've had a map
right.
approved, you can do whatever you want. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's not really. It's one of those things where, like, if someone does start playing, especially we have this content approval stage, so you still have to go through content approval, which just means someone just checks the map and checks it's like reasonable. So we might make it so people can skip that. I don't know. We could. That's something that we could do more in the future.
He really wants food. So yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. We need to get this finished. Yeah. For Walter's sake.
Yeah, for Walter's sake. Can the workshop be used at all? Not for maps, no. The workshop would be nice if there was more control over the game like publishing side, right? Like if we could have more like limits on like, oh, you can't update a map after we lock it or something. All right, like that's the main problem with the workshop is it's so nice that Valve has like this way to host community made maps and stuff, but it's like either you allow a free for all, everyone uploads everything, and like we just have to like in our back end select like the ones that are official. Yeah. But then even then, if we do that mode, people can update a map at any time, even after it's approved and like finalized and stuff. So that's not what we want at all. So yeah, it sucks, but we have a very specific set of criteria that we want out of a map upload system that just making our own was the really only way to do it. And we could still use Workshop for things like cosmetics or like HUD, whatever, right? Like we could do miscellaneous things on the Workshop. I'd like to use it for cosmetics. But yeah, we'll see what we want to use it for, but it can't be used for maps. Or runs even. I know Steam has leaderboards, and there's a way to make it so that you can only submit times via the web API, but there's a limit to 10,000 total leaderboards, which in our case, each map is going to have a different leaderboard for each stage. And like, so even just adding like, I think like 1,000 maps, or not even that, even like probably just like 200 or something. We could do the math if we want to figure it out exactly, but it's like, it's only a couple hundred maps before we hit that limit on Steam side. So it's unfortunate. And then there's also just like, there's not really a lot of like features around that either.
There's so many aspects of both leaderboards and workshops that just couldn't work for us. Like there's just really specific things we want to be able to do and do it really well.
Yeah.
We have not done. We showed a little bit of that off earlier. We'll have more of it to show.
Yeah.
Probably next Q&A of like all of map submission stuff. It just couldn't work with Steam Workshop. There's too much like specific stuff we want to be able to do with it.
Right.
But yeah, like we say, we will be making like actual guidelines eventually. For porting maps, so not submitting your own maps, we kind of expect you to at least try and contact the original mapper, get their permission beforehand.
Yeah, generally if you can't, we'll consider it okay, but like you should try to. But also like don't change it. Like it's still their thing. Like if you're porting a map, you're kind of doing grunt work. Like you shouldn't see that as a creative task. And we will really want to emphasize that with people. Like just because you're porting it doesn't mean you can just randomly change shit. It's not your map. It's not yours to do that too. So.
Well, you can randomly change the things that we need to be changed for.
No, that's what I mean. The stuff that like this, but that's what I mean by
you can't change the gameplay.
Yeah,
you're following a checklist.
Or
if you're porting a map, you're following a checklist of stuff we tell you to do, basically. And so it's kind of boring like that. But that's what we want because we don't want you making random changes and things that aren't on that checklist.
Yeah. Okay.
And there shouldn't be that much to that. But...
Man, I can't do it any sooner than that. I need to just not have that much velocity going up. I've made it to that point so many times now. It's like frustrating. Anyway, sorry. Oh, that's the last of the ask questions. We did have one in voice team. Miabobia asks, sorry for the repeat question, but will hosting private servers be possible? And in fact, it's not the same multiplayer that you think of when you think of like CSS. So we are currently inside of a lobby. Lobbies are these multiplayer layers on top of the game because we're a single player game and we don't necessarily need to synchronize right, your game state between everyone. We can make multiplayer optional and like it's on top of the game, so you can go across map, which is what you're seeing here. Everyone is kind of like on different maps and stuff. So when you're on the same map, though, you can spectate each other because then we could just start like networking to each other. But the way that works, though, is that it's just like the player movement, right? It's not really world state or entity state. We don't synchronize that. So you can watch somebody and it might be like a second or so delayed or something, but it's a really easy way because it's all just using Steam, like networking. Like to host this lobby, it was seriously just a matter of like hitting create, you know, choosing your thing here, classic transfer warning. And like in hosting the lobby with how many players you want, if you want it to be invite only, friends only. So you can host a private lobby. We will have things in the future like dedicated lobbies where you can just kind of throw it on a machine that just has like a Steam ID that you like can connect to. And that could be used for things like, you know, clans or like tournaments or things like that. So we will have in the future a kind of more dedicated like private server sort of thing. Yeah. But again, you're still using our like web backend and stuff. So like there's still like, you know, you have all of the benefits of like our systems, and then the multiplayer side is just kind of this optional thing. You don't even have to be in a lobby if you don't want to. You can play by yourself too. So if you're like a popular streamer or something, right, like you won't be in a random lobby.
But that's so nice because the private lobbies can be so lightweight, like the dedicated stuff. Like it's like
right?
we'll just do it. It'll just be like Rabbit MQ. It won't, but like it's just
all
like
in Redis. Yeah.
Well, that's or like you're not having to like with a normal server, like that server has doing stuff with the data you send it, whilst with our thing it's basically just forwarding that data over to other clients, and so it's really, really cheap.
It is, yeah. It's not
so you can run
calculating
like
game state or anything crazy like that.
Yeah.
It's really nice. And so, and I'm really proud of this system because we are a speedrunning focused game. We aren't really focusing on, let's add deathmatch or let's add, you know, these multiplayer. Because that's the thing is like if we added tricks, if we added surf deathmatch or anything, the moment you don't have anyone to play with, it's dead. It's just dead content, right? Like you can't play tricks by yourself or something. So, like I'm really proud of this multiplayer direction. I think it's definitely like the most fitting way to do it for momentum. I'm glad we didn't make, you know, your favorite server the game and have it just be we're relying on people hosting source dedicated server everywhere for enough people around the world to play, which is terrible. And then like how does like hosting the map work? And so it's just like
I wonder if
just a giant
if our dedicated
thing.
I wonder if our dedicated servers could be so cheap that we could just host them for free for people. Oh, there's Walter. Look at him.
He's on his wheel. He's going crazy.
Look at that. But like,
a goober.
It might be so cheap that like we could just host it for free for people. Like we do our own hosting of like the dedicated server stuff. Like if you want to have like this permanent lobby, because if the server thing would be such a small like server.
We'll see. It could be. I mean, it could be interesting to see too. Like if you get a beefy like Hetzner node or something, and just like how many you could like host, right? Because like, and like how many people could be on one.
Well, for one, like, you could bench that more easily than you could bench like source stuff because like you can just it doesn't know anything about the engine server, so you could just test it and just see how much you can do. Because like thinking of like what it's actually having to do with just forwarding messages between different clients, like that's what most servers do, and you can get them to be stupidly fast. Yeah. So, like it might just be like for free to do basically. But
we'll see. Well, it'll be fun to design that system because once we get Rio's changes in. Speaking of Rio, good question, Rody. It's up to him if he's ever around on Saturdays around this time.
Really only.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool to get him in.
We should try and get Rio. We should try and get him for a thing because we're going to show off replays in next Q&A, hopefully.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to have him talk about it.
Kidnap him.
So, yeah, we'll try to see if he's around next time and see if he can give some insight while we're showing it off. And yeah, it'd be awesome. It really just is a matter of like if people are around to join. It's not forced or anything. Same with the meetings that we do every Saturday, right? It's just a matter of like letting us know what's up. So yeah, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I think that's where we're gonna end this one. So is there anyone currently streaming? No. Okay.
I might stream from Dev a bit later.
Oh, okay,
we
cool.
might be back on.
Sweet.
Team.
That works. Get the aftercare
But
tag back?
I'm not doing it right now.
Yeah.
No, I'll have to come with new takes.
Oh, okay.
I'll look
Okay.
at stupider ones.
Even better.
Oh god.
Okay.
Oh, what are we gonna do? Oh, I know. We could Wayzone. We mentioned Wayzone earlier.
Oh, is he streaming?
Wayzone streaming.
Oh shit, he is. Richard
Burns Rally.
Okay, let's do it. Let's rate him. Yeah.
Speed run. I had the speed run tag.
Get in there.
Speed run. Yeah.
Awesome.
Stream 18 hours. No breaks. I could do that.
I used to do that. I would not recommend it. I would not recommend streaming 18 hours with no sleep.
I've done that. No, I've not. No, I've not done 18 hours of momentum. I've done like 14 is my max.
Oh,
14
nice.
hours of dev.
Okay.
14 hours of programming.
Holy fuck! How do you do that?
You just gotta do really easy programming and. Cool. Oh, we're still going?
Yeah. No. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Let me wrap up here. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for embracing the jank with us. We'll have a much smoother progress as we go along. It'll be really exciting.
So
each Q&A as we reach the end of the year will be awesome. And then yeah, just send whatever heart or smiley emoji that you'd like to Wayzone here. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day / evening / night. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching and catch you all in the next one. Bye.